Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Division S is back to business with Team Russia. It feels like we haven't casted the Russians in quite some time. The bad boys, they preponed one of their series, and then the next matches that they had to play, they postponed a little bit. And that's why it feels like an eternity since we've seen the team, but we actually get a double header with them today. First they're playing against Wind and Rain, and then later on they play against Granite Gaming. So in our first series of the day, Wind and Rain versus Team Russia, we have Volskaya Foundry as our first map. And yeah, best of 5, obviously again, highest level of the European heroes here once more. Wind and Rain currently a little bit lower in the standings there, as Team Russia is obviously trying to fight their way up to the top, where currently there's a little bit of a battle happening with nothing left against Granite Gaming. And washed up as they're taking win after win after win. After the rocky start they had at the beginning, they're also starting to attack the top positions here. In this game, the typical ban against Mephisto. It's something that Make has been playing for Wind and Rain a lot, and especially on Volskaya Foundry. And in this case, they're just banning it out right away and saying like, okay, no Mephisto for you. Zeratul is still open, because on the other side we still had then Rexa banned out, which is a little bit of a trademark from the Russians. Tyrael and Li Ming immediately being picked. So there's a couple of aspects already to this. So Stork gets us a Nuburak, which is already a bit rare. But once you have a Nuburak on the other side, you want to have Li Ming for a disintegrate, and she can do a lot of work there. So she's basically an insta-pick when you see that a Nuburak taken by your opponent. On top of that, we are still having Jaina and also Zeratul open. So Berkul picks into Tyrael, which is generally speaking a great hero for them, but it also with the Sanctification can deny the Jaina combo a little bit, which is one of the reasons why we're not seeing the Russians spec into that right now. On top of that, if you're going into a Malfurion with Tyrael, you can actually also play Tracer if you wanted to. Now Mako and Li Ming is not something that we see only a few times. We see it actually a lot, so that might be one of the things that we're gonna get now as well. But the bans are coming in as we have Anna on the side of Kolya Martian, and we have Reina by Farlander here. Bans on Leo. That's something that they played a lot in the past, of course, and therefore that gets banned out now too. But what are we going to see from the Russians banned out? I mean, at this point, you have to also think a little bit about Blaze. He's still great on Volskaya, even though generally speaking, he has started to fall a little bit in the meta in general. But there's also, of course, Zeratul, and well, gets banned out for now. But also Blaze is open, could really help you to sustain yourself longer on that control point and get something done there. And yeah, so with that said, we're having the next level pick, Wind and Rain. They played an epic series just the other day against nothing left, I feel. That was a really, really exciting one. Ended, I think, on Sky Temple, if I remember correctly. Okay, Junkrat and Max Passion is playing Thrall. And what are the Russians going to play here? How do they round their draft out? I really want to see what we can expect from them, because I actually have no idea how their power level currently stands compared to the other teams, because it honestly feels like we haven't casted them in 3 weeks. And I actually think that's kind of accurate as well. It's at least been 2.5 or something. There is Jaina after all, and we have Urelna also picked. Together with the Nuburak, the two of them can of course jump in. The idea is still to get a good stun set up, and then having Jaina come in. Nano boost from Ana, obviously provided. Could have gone into Tyrande still, or into the Malfurion, which the support player on the side of Team Russia usually prefers. Didn't get that there. But yeah, last pick. Last but not least, what are we going to see from Wind and Rain? We have Malfurion coming in for the heals. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, Volskaya Foundry. Let's jump in. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, Wind and Rain versus Team Russia. We're on Volskaya Foundry, and we are jumping in with Galnagulna on Malfurion. We're currently having Make on Li Ming, Skog on Junkrat, Max Passion on Thrall, and Berkul is playing Tyrael. On the right side of the map, though, we're having Stork and Nuburak for the Russians, Banabia on Jaina, Farlander on Reina, Kolya Martian on Anna, and Shamzik is playing Urel at this point. Alright, hyped for this one. It's been a while since we've seen the Russians there, but now we have them again. Put some English on, Echo of Elements. Pretty much standard at this part. Obviously, we are on the live patch at this point, but to my knowledge, Anduin is currently still banned out. I think he's available on Playdate 9, and we are still in Playdate number 8. 8, 7? Honestly, can't exactly tell you, since this is also one of the postponed games. So again, we haven't seen the Russians in a while. But yeah, the new healer is currently not part of the pool. Just in case that you guys were wondering, but as always, those games are on the live patch. Now with this said, the Russians, obviously, one of the trademarks that they have in general is that they are hyper-aggressive all the time, but that's not only them. Wind and Rain is already playing aggressive here too, as they are trying to go in and start this game up with a bit of a bang. In terms of talents, there's nothing really insane happening just now. We're having again for Nuburak, the Regeneration Master, looking for those additional 500 hit points later on in the game, which is going to make the Beetle pretty tanky. I mean, the setup for Stalk is usually an aggressive one. Stalk at the top lane has to also work around that right now. Down to the bottom of the map, now a minute into the game. Both of the teams obviously going straight for their turret. That hasn't really changed in any way. For Volskaya Foundry, you're trying to get the item advantage over your opponent. A minute into the game, when the camps spawn for the first time, you're normally trying to get those right away, so that the camps respawn during the first objective. And depending on the outcome of the fight over objective number 1, you might have another chance to grab a second turret and then engage into the battle. So after those are taken, it's kind of important to monitor a little bit what happens around the healing beacon. Junkrat in particular obviously is already going to try and control that space. But with the Nuburak on the other side, and also Jaina for that burst AoE damage, you have to be a bit careful, and it's a bit unlikely that Wind and Rain is committing to this. Oftentimes you see both of the teams shying away from that fight, but every now and then you will see that engage, and in this case it is happening. Wind and Rain is already moving in for it. Jaina is all the way back. Barnabia is just now coming in. And that is a bit late. The Russians will have to give this one up, very likely. Yeah, and there it is. The advantage for Wind and Rain as we're heading into objective number 1. Thanks to the extra item that we're now seeing for their opponent. So with this, we're having at the same time the objective also starting to unlock in 20 additional seconds. Level 4 talents are ready for both teams, which give us now the Charge Blast for Liming. Pretty traditional setup actually for Market. Charge Blast is one of those trademark talents that he usually goes for. Has been for a long time right now. And on the other side, we're having pretty typical setups also for Reyna in particular. And that is going to be an interesting one, because Reyna is, I mean, it's not really the most insane hero when you talk about flashy plays usually, but the amount of damage that Farlander is usually able to get out, not only on Reyna's side, but generally speaking, is pretty impressive. I mean, he has been making some insane plays for the Russians in the past, so we have to wait a little bit for that. Backhold again with his hero here up at the front. Now his hero pool is actually pretty extensive, but he has definitely a few favorites, and Tyrael is one of them. Tyrael and Johanna are two of his go-to heroes at the front line. Definitely the ones that he prefers, maybe together with Garrosh that we oftentimes see from him. And his Tyrael play is insanely solid, and a good sanctification in the setup can do wonders. But obviously we're getting slightly ahead of ourselves, since we are not even on level 10 yet by any means. Still 3 levels away from it. But now we're having the objective again fought over, and the early level 7 gives Wind and Rain a chance to again reclaim the point here. Well, we have Team Russia waiting for their own talent before they can go for the re-engage, which we're going to see right now. Again, the Carapace build for Stalk. Is it going to go Subterranean Shield after all on 7? You see that bit of a hybrid. Quite a lot, actually. And obviously that works also extremely well with the Epicenter. That is nearly an inevitable talent to be taken at level 7. But he goes for the Kaitina's plating at this point. So is Fernley getting the cooldown reduction here, and therefore the extra sustain. The battle still on. So far the healing pulse has not been committed into this fight by Backhold. They still have that slight advantage. Calamity is there. Yes, the healing pulse. Backhold attack, but they're trying to turn it around. Already the roots on the ground from Wind and Rain as they're trying to make their own play. Going for Urel in the back. Stalk on the conveyor belt. So is Max Passion. Could try and move in from behind. 99% against 20. And so far, Wind and Rain is still looking fairly healthy. A triple stun from Nuburak. The insta-kill against Junkrat. Nice kill here coming in from Farlander. But the double kill, the triple, as an immediate answer. Marker with the resets and the combos drops the Nuburak, Urel, and Jaina. And Wind and Rain is starting to get massively ahead. Likely to rotate towards the top, trying to break through the wall here in the middle, but the rotation to the top is going to be inevitable. Going to try and take down the objective here, or at least the fountain to make it an easier objective. Number 2. Jump is there as they are moving in, and this is looking really good for the early stage. Level ahead already, going for the fountain. Wind and Rain putting the watermark onto the game here. Nicely done by them. And again, Russia started aggressively into the season and did well. Wind and Rain was mostly struggling, but you can't really count them out. There was a lot of close calls for a lot of teams that were going up against them. And obviously they're looking for points here. I want to make sure that they have a good position also for the later playoffs later in this year. For now, we're having the kill against Shamsik at the bot lane. Max Passion gets the one-on-one kill here even. Farlander comes in a bit too late, and this is not a good start for Team Russia at all. I mean, not at all. Now, obviously, as we all so often have seen, the Russians are at this point exactly where they want to be. They're behind. It's kind of, they are the comeback kings for a reason, and it's actually at this point more than a meme. It was comical at first, but it has started to become a bit of a absolute truth that the farther the Russians are behind, the harder they're going to win the game in the end, because somehow they're always able to turn it around. They all of a sudden start to take a 5 versus 4 fight and dominate it. They take a battle against an opponent as Storm Talons, and they just absolutely murder their opposition. And this is where you can never really count them out. Normally, if you're ahead, you're feeling like you're in a decent spot. You're like, okay, this is going well. Let's just like play it safe here. Against the Russians, this is when you have to be the most careful. And I really feel it's because a lot of teams start to rely a bit too much on those advantages that they get and underestimate their opponent there. And against the Russians, you just can't do that. They never give up. The Russians, they never ever give up. They're always in a spot where I say, nah, we can still win this. Honestly, I've seen them come back in games where I wouldn't have bet a penny on them anymore. And then they win 1-2 team fights where they have absolutely no business of even getting a single kill, and they wipe the opponent, and all of a sudden they're back to business. The comebacks that this team has pulled off right now, it's honestly, you can't count them even anymore. So they are behind, but you can't count them out at all. But it's definitely a good start for Wind and Rain. The level 10 abilities are now in, and obviously the focus is going to shift very soon towards the top lane, where we have the advantage through the fountain that was taken out. We have also the early level 13 talent for team Wind and Rain that they're going to get here. But the Russians at the same time are now trying to find value at the bot lane. And with the Nuburak, they can start to dive structures a bit more aggressively thanks to the beetles that they're spawning here. They're trying to go for the kill against Max Passion. Already dropping the turret even. Definitely playing this careful. Still having the item advantage to the extra turret they got and the healing beacon that they have too. And down to the bottom of the map right now. We're still having that counter pressure as up top side. Junkrat is dealing with Farlander, but the battle down here, that's a different story. 13 is ready. And that gives us, amongst other things, now also the Illusionist for Marker. We're having the extra mobility. Oh, Holy Ground actually now taken. Trying to zone them out a little bit more with Ethereal plays. But they're still pressuring the bot side. But up to the top, the control point is going to unlock soon. And Junkrat is already starting to hop around. This one is going to spawn another 40 seconds. As you can see down here, that's another 40 seconds on both of these camps roughly. 17 actually on this one. So this is where we already see the Russians positioning themselves to try and get at least one item for themselves, because currently they don't really have a whole lot that they can bring to the fight topside. In terms of stacks, we have 18 for Stalk right now on this level 1, so he's 12 away from getting those extra 500 HP. But we have the advantage for the team in blue. Team Russia now starting to contest that slowly and steadily. Yep, making sure that there's not even a progress on the other side. Still need the rotation, still need the extra wave. They need the 13, and they have it. Even fight for now, not on the item level, but at least on balance. Good stun against Make, can't follow up with a second. One doesn't even try to. Jaina at this point with the Icy Veins here taken as well, as we're now starting the fight up again over another objective. But again, the item advantage handily in favor of Wind and Rain. And they have the fountain, and they pre-tap. They pre-tap to go straight into the fight, use that advantage to their fullest extent. And we have the poke here from Max Passion as he's trying to, of course, get a bit of value. Gets the lockdown, but the water elemental comes out and responds from Barnaby immediately. Nice setup already, going straight for his ult too. Barnaby low. The nano boost on Jaina doesn't do jack shit because the Riptire just takes her apart. The cocoon on Marker didn't quite do what they needed here. And all of a sudden we have Wind and Rain in a 5 versus 4 position again. Didn't even have to use any of the items here. So now we're having a big battle for them. They're already making the play for another healing beacon. They know that they have advantage right now. Stark is sitting there. Tyrael can always jump in if he feels he needs to. And there is another healing beacon taking by them already. 2 healing beacons, 1 extra turret, 5 kills against 1. Wind and Rain looking strong here. Even with Jaina now on her way back. And we have a massive advantage for them in experience, of course, too, for Wind and Rain, that is. And that in particular is going to be tricky to deal with, because at this point, once 16 drops and you get the Protector, if that actually happens at the same time, you can make a play, maybe even for the first keep of the game. You don't have to rotate down to the bottom of the map and drop the fountain there. You can prep for the 3rd objective, but there's definitely a chance to make a play for the first cape of the game, topside. Once again, a little bit of poke coming through here. Stark sitting on the spot right now, as we have, again, everybody just coming in together. Fountain cooldown is going to be ready soon again for them too. They're starting to make the rotation for the fight. They're waiting for their own cooldowns. Tranquility is back up, 13 seconds. 4th Thrall to get his ult back in. And of course, we're waiting for Sanctification as well. In comes the attack against Max Passion. Riptire is in once more, but gets taken out. Tranquility is in play. Here comes the Cocoon against Make again. Galne Gulnar is nearly down, somehow survives as they're going for the Water Elemental. Make also low, drops the healing beacon immediately. They're going for the play. Farlander is getting pushed in by Junkrat, but the Russians win the objective. The Russians win the objective. Reyna goes down. He's at least taken apart, but the objective in the hands of Team Russia. They might be 1.5 levels behind. They might be a player down, but they have taken the Protector at least. Great setup here again. It's like unbelievable. They actually took the Protector here. They're still fighting over this, but obviously the level 16 advantage is a really, really tough one to overcome at this point. And they can't really push this in too hard, so they're not going to get anything out of the Protector, especially since Jimmy died. But what they can do is take it away from their opponent and make sure that they are slowly closing this gap in experience and fighting on even talents again. So it's not really, it's still a big victory. It might not really seem like it for a lot of people that watch this, because they can't really get a lot of damage done with it. But at this point, Jimmy is back. They have another 28 seconds. They can try and take a few of the structures down, but it's unlikely to happen. There's too much poke on the other side. And as long as Wind and Rain play it safe, they shouldn't lose a hero here. But the Russians denied the Protector to their opponent, and it was mostly important because, as I said before, if you have a setup in which your opponent gets 16 plus the Protector, you are in trouble. So once again, we're having another move in as we're going straight. Oh, for the lockdown against Max Passion. Thrall in trouble for a moment, but they're trying to turn against Backhold. Sanctification, nope, not this time. Gets interrupted, and that's the kill. That's the double kill right there. Tyrael down, and Liming is eliminated as well. The Cocoon against Thrall, and the follow-up stuns might drop him too. Nice kill against Ana from the side, though, as Junkrat goes in. But we have Thrall falling after all, and now Malfurion is the next target, and the guy with the green beard is getting dropped. Yep, that's also the mid lane fort eliminated, and the Russians, as usual, are back to business. 7 kills against 5 now. Quick change from the 6-1 setup in kills that we just had a few seconds ago. Now we're having items claimed again by the team in red. And that was always the big question. I mean, there's 2 questions to answer really with the Russians. 3. Number 1, are winter maps favoring the Russian team because they're used to the cold? Number 2, is Volskaya Foundry a little bit of a home ground advantage for the Russians because, well, it's Russian? And number 3, do they benefit from spawning as the red team and go full comrade here? Those are the big questions to answer, and at this point it seems like those little advantages are currently adding up, and it helps them to drop the bottom of the map. And as we learned before, that's prepping for the 3rd objective, as the bot lane is going to spawn the next Protector. But at least we have an item for Wind and Rain, and they currently still hold on to 2 healing beacons, so they have both of them. They're also starting to chase Urel around a little bit. At this point, with 26 stacks on the side of Anubarak, it's very likely that Stork is going to complete that quest talent by the time that the next objective is on the map too. That gives him another 500 HP, and he is going to be really happy about that. So now top side, that's where Shamsik is starting to move in. 7 against 5 kills right now, 18 versus 18. In terms of 16 talents, we have the Epicenter and the Numbing Blast. A lot of control now through those 2 talents alone. And then you have the Templar's Verdict here, of course, as well, where they can try and capitalize with extra damage on it. Maka has to pause the game here for a second, but you already see a bit of a wraparound. Trying to go for the camp here too. Rest of the team is currently sitting at the side. And as they're starting to rotate, keep in mind, if actually Anuburak can now move in and get a quick stun against Gulnar, and the rest of the team is jumping onto that opportunity with Banabia dropping the burst damage, if they get close enough for that, they can get a quick kill here. But obviously Wind and Rain, they know that there's currently no vision on the map outside of Shamzik, who they see at the top lane, so they should be a little bit careful with this. At the bottom of the map, Max Passion is already just sitting on the mount because he is in the same position. He doesn't know where they are right now, so he has to be a bit careful as he's trying to soak the lane here. Doesn't have to push that out, can literally just wait it out right now. The damage output reflects pretty much what we're seeing here too, with now 43,000 on Jaina, but take a quick look at Thrall. 45k for him. It's honestly a lot more than I expected him here. That's normally something you see when a Thrall player is able to really stack his Crash Lightning pretty high, but in this case, that's not even the case. Li Ming on 39,000. Felt honestly like Maka was a lot more impactful than that, but then again, he also got cocooned in every single one of these fights pretty much immediately whenever they were trying to make their play. And there's a wraparound, ring around the rosy pretty much as they are moving through this, and the fight not forced yet. Instead, they're trying to make the play for Shamzik at the top lane. That didn't really work there either, but the item advantage is still the pretty big issue. And there's the engage. 1 stun, 2 stun, trying to go for Backhold as he jumps out. The Riptire comes in as well. And that means it's going to be down for quite a bit of time as we have the next objective spawning. 19 versus 19. The aggression didn't quite work out. Also, Anuburak using the cocoon there, and I think Maka blinked that. I didn't personally see it, but it seems like Maka actually blinked the cocoon here. So yeah, nicely done by them. Wasn't able to dodge out on a few of the previous ones when he got caught by it. But that's 2 cooldowns that both of the teams are going to be eager to wait for now. And with this also, we have the objective at the bot lane soon spawning, and Max Passion is already dealing with the catapults down here. 20 talents are important for both teams, and the one that hits it earlier is actually Wind and Rain. The blue team is having the level 20 and therefore slight advantage, which will force Team Russia to do their thing. Up to the top right now, they don't have 20 just yet. Earth and Shield comes in for Thrall. We're also having at the same time Tal Rasha's Element coming through. We have the Serenity hitting, and obviously the Holy Arena now as well. But 20 available on both sides, and with the Anuburak now running the rewind with Seraphim taken on Urel. Some fantastic tools here, especially since we're also seeing on top of that a Nano Infusion attack already into the back line. Backhold needs to be careful. You don't want to throw out your heroics too soon here, but we have the first item already being used. 1 healing beacon on the ground. Junkrat still holding on to this. Fight is there. Thunderstorm is completed on Thrall, so he's going to get a bit more control over them thanks to the slows and the damage. And they still hold on to the spot, 63% and counting. Currently, Wind and Rain is looking strong. But the Russians haven't really flipped the switch yet. Here comes the attack again, but we don't have Cocoon committed to just yet. Backhold in trouble, trying to get the Sanct through for a moment. Not quite. In comes the attack again, but already the healing beacon on the ground, and there's the Sanctification finally as they're trying to go for Urel here. Whip Higher comes through, ripping them apart. Nice damage against Vanapia. Walks into the grenade, walks into the second and dies. He didn't see it. He didn't see grenade number 2. It was straight in the bush, and he walks into the vent and falls to it. Now Malfurion is dead in the backline on the other hand, but Fallen is in trouble, and Backhold drops him with a final hit of the sword here. Nearly the Protector taken by Wind and Rain. Anna is falling as well. 3 kills against 2, but Stork is still fighting, and so is Urel. They're trying to make the jump for Junkrat, and he is down. But the Beetle is eliminated too. Urel still alive. One last remaining turret also on the ground, but the entire team gets wiped as we have Max Passion take that Protector together with Backhold. Unbelievable. Honestly, without Jaina falling, if Jaina would have had a chance to move back and just tap at the fountain, they might have been able to win that fight after all. But then there's a single grenade left in the bush, and Jaina tries to hide, tries to just deny vision to the opponent, walks into it, and dies there immediately. Really unfortunate setup for Jaina in this case. Actually ice blocking the grenades initially, and then trying to run away. An absolute massacre that we just saw. Jaina is back to business right now, but of course Wind and Rain is aiming for the keep here. Top lane is where another fort is likely to fall right now. It's actually going to be close, but the second wave is already pushing in. Fort is down. Now at the bot lane they can't really take the keep yet, so they're just moving into the middle and try to drop every single fort on the map. They should easily be able to pull that off. So with this, we're seeing them starting to move in again. 12 against 8 kills at this point. The Russians have taken a bit of a beating in the last fight, but the objective hasn't ended the game. Not even close. I mean, we're not even seeing a single keep down, so we are going into objective number 4 in this game. We're back into the mid lane after this. But that was honestly a bit of a nutty setup that we just had there. In comes again the damage output, but only 15% left on the Protector. On top of that, also seeing only a few seconds left, and there's nothing else for them to claim, honestly. They can try and make the play now for the camps once that this one is popping out, but it's all about the third objective right now. It's well, maybe we're going to see a fight over the healing beacon. That could definitely be the case. Items are obviously reset at this point, and now the healing beacons are up, and immediately commitment. But Stalk is already there. They know this is going to happen, so they are ready for the fight, and they're willing to take it. Already Max Passion in trouble, and Thrall is down. They're moving in on the point now as well, stealing actually the healing beacon away from their opponent. And there's the Cocoon against Li Ming. Once again, Stalk is already zoning out the backline. They're trying to get the insta-kill in. They need the stun, and they need it now. They try and go for Backhold as he's going for the holy ground. Backhold in trouble. Backhold goes down. He's dead, and he might not be the only one. Oh, ha, ha, that Buck is dead and begins the reset. Over to Li Ming. A 2-for-1 trade now in favor of the Russian team, but at least Wind and Rain got a counter kill here. 13 kills against 10. Great first game between the two teams that we're currently seeing here. And yeah, we're 20 minutes in. We're having items stolen all over the place. And once again, the commitment over here towards the right side as they're going for the turret, trying to get this one. Keep in mind, this is a 4 versus 3, and they have to give that up right now. Barnaby already moving in, trying to get the slows against Malfurion, against Gulnar. Scott, in the meantime, nearly falling to Farlander as he again moves in from the side and gets a couple of fantastic hits off here. Good setup for the Russians. 2 items taken already. They invade the opponent's camp as they have the numeric advantage on the map. And now they make the move towards their own camp to take this one as well. 2 turrets for them, plus the additional healing beacon. 64,000 damage now for Jimmy. 60,000 damage for Jaina. And on the other side, Junkrat and Thrall looking fantastic. Li Ming also with a decent damage output here. But it's starting to become a lot dicey. I mean, think about how we started. We started with pretty much a 2-level lead for Wind and Rain and 6 kills against 1, and the entire scenario has completely shifted. So now the teams are just desperately fighting over items and trying to find small advantages. Maybe getting a quick kill off against someone. Baseline's obviously completed as well. Still a couple of stacked talents that they can work on. Thrall obviously going to work on his Thunderstorm at level 16 again. 12 stacks now on Broccoli for Malfurion. And the level 4 on Junkrat getting stacked as well. Level 20, he went for the cannonball here. And this is one is going to be the next big one. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a 5th objective on this map in a competitive game. So I'm honestly wondering right now if this might be the first one, if there's a chance that we are seeing a 5th objective here. There's not a single keep that has been taken out, so depends a little bit on who grabs the Protector. If you have a similar scenario to what happened topside, where the Protector is claimed by a team, but they lose 1 or 2 heroes in the process and go up against an intact 5-man, we might actually see a 5th Protector in this game here. But it's a bit unlikely. 23 minutes in, 24, 25, that Protector is going to be a beast, an absolute beast. And that's what we're waiting for here. There's already the poke battle happening. 2 stacks currently on the Thunderstorm. And again, that talent is pretty solid. I mean, you get the slows, you get the damage output, and that's what we're currently seeing from them. And, well, with this, the position taken, or about to be taken by Wind and Rain. They're trying to go for that again. Water Elemental, the Wind and Mute is already out. They're trying to make the play here. Thrall completes the cast again. Gets the extra damage in. Good damage against Farlander. Nice grenade. Immediate Cocoon after we've seen that the Earthquake being used. That also means that the Cocoon is now down as well, and they go for another item. They're starting to take this. The Russians claiming the position for now. They have the item advantage, and they're intending to use it. 1 more turret to be dropped by Barnaby later on, but a lot of the other items are already eliminated, especially that healing beacon that they took earlier. Good move by Marke, jumping out of the Blizzard again, but they're poking around here. 13 against 10 kills. They're starting to go for it. Stalk is low. There's no fountain in the mid lane anymore. This is the fight. This is it right here. Again, the Riptire coming in, gets the big detonation through. Not enough damage to get a kill. have to move back from this. Great poke. Oh, fantastic move by Junkrat. Jaina is isolated, and that is the kill. Wind and Rain with a Jaina kill right there. And that might just be what they needed to get the entire objective right now. Jaina down for another 50 seconds. That was fantastic. That was actually fantastic from Skok. It was exactly what they needed there. The isolation of Jaina, even the Ice Block couldn't save them, and now the Russians forced into a 4 versus 5, and they're going for it. But Anubarak barely escapes it. Might still fall, yeah, actually, as Tyrael is coming in once again, but the Cocoon is back on the ground. Turret already getting dropped here. Farlander in trouble as well, and that is the end of Jimmy. Jimmy is dead, and Wind and Rain trying to go for another kill, and also another item at the same time. Taking the camp, taking the item, taking the turret. They have to retreat again. 60% against 73. Still not taken, but they're going for it. 15 seconds for Jaina. 47 for Jimmy. At this point, there's pretty much no doubt anymore that this 4th objective is going to end up in the hands of Wind and Rain. The only question then is going to be, can the Russians somehow defend? Can they somehow pull it off? They can't possibly think they can get a kill here right now. But they're looking at it. 15 kills against 10, and there's the Protector. What's the decision? Which lane are they going to go for? Every single lane is pretty much open. Pushed out the bot lane already a little bit more heavily, so they go for the bot side. Ah, wall is already destroyed, yeah. Easy choice right there. So they go for the wall. Currently we have Li Ming and Malfurion in there. They're trying to get the damage out. Can they drop the core with this? Again, I've never seen a competitive level at 5th Protector. The 4th one is too strong. Look, that beast is killing them. That beast is absolutely murdering them right now. He is not, the Protector doesn't hit like a truck. He picks up the truck and then hits you with it. That's what's pretty much going on there. But they're trying to burn it down as quickly as they can. Stork has to fight. They have to fight outside of the core. But Stork is low. Cocoon on the ground. Stork on the run. Gets the heal and actually survives for a little bit longer. Guys, the Protector is down to 40%. They might just be able to pull it off. Uriel is already on the run. Drops the ult here. Rest of the team is poking them down slowly but steadily. Farlander is all of a sudden in trouble again as Reyna's trying to escape here. But he goes down. Reyna eliminated. And now the core is wide open. One of the damage dealers already eliminated as we are seeing the Sanctification on the ground here. The shields are dropping on the core as Wind and Rain is going for the big kill and for the W in game number 1. They drop Jaina. The damage is gone and the core's HP are following. This is game as Wind and Rain gets the victory on Volskaya Foundry and takes the lead in the best of 5 series here at Division S. GG and well played. Game number 2, Wind and Rain, ladies and gentlemen, have taken the lead here. Great game by them on the first map on Volskaya. It was a little bit closer in the middle than I expected it to be after the start, but hey, Wind and Rain with the victory. So now we have Team Russia with the on Cursed Hollow. It's not their map choice, they have first pick, first ban. But it is the best of 5, and the Russians have now to fight from behind. Banning out Tyrael, they're done with Backhold. Which already lets me wonder what we're going to see from Backhold. As I said in the previous game, Tyrael and Johanna are usually his go-tos. I would say that if you talk about his top 3, then we're probably talking Garrosh as well. But yeah, pretty curious to see what we're going to have from him. If it's one of those 3 heroes or they're deviating away from it a bit because of the map itself. Either way, with the bans coming in, Zeratul is already banned out. Normally what you're seeing here is also a ban on Maiev, of course. I'm still wondering if Abathur is going to be addressed by one of the teams. It's oftentimes one of the heroes on this map. There's the ban against the Anubarak. It's actually interesting considering that they have first pick, first ban. Normally it's the Russians that go for Anubarak really quickly. In this game, they are apparently not planning on picking him first, but are still unwilling to give it over to their opponent. But what are I going to see banned out from Wind and Rain? Is Abathur going to be a factor here? With other teams like Washed Up, you would also think about Vikings, which with most teams don't really play the biggest role. Dehaka becomes a huge option because of the global. ETC with Stage Dive as a side laner is potentially also going to be a pick. Maiev, easy first pick right here. Genji instead banned out by Wind and Rain. Not really too worried about the Maiev play, so Farlander gets his hero. There's Dehaka for the global. Ooh, Dehaka Abathur. Yeah, that is already global city for them, and obviously allows Dehaka to burrow on any lane, get the Abathur support immediately. And so to say, turn anyone on one lane into a 1 versus 3 setup. So definitely a lot of aggression with this already. For me personally, the question is, yes, there's the ETC pick. As I said, ETC becomes a big option with stage dive if you go up against the Dehaka. And if you're going up against Dehaka Abathur, you really have to think about your globals. There is of course false stat to kind of be considered as well, but the bird usually these days a bit weaker. It sees play though, but if you have Abathur already on the other side and then you get false stat, if there's anybody that can jump on him, he's usually pretty much in trouble. I mean, we had a couple of games where Genji and Abathur were played against Falstad, and you probably all remember how those went. Let's just say that Falstad didn't have great games there. There's the Tracer ban against that setup. Leo also, for the second time now, eliminated by Wind and Rain in this. And yeah, Tyrande with ETC obviously also provides the power slide into the stun from Tyrande. And what am I getting in the damage department for Wind and Rain? With Abathur, Jaina would be a great copy. Greymane is usually something that you have to at least consider to be taken. Frontline changes slightly as well. Diablo, ooh, Diablo Jaina. Alright, so the double Jaina setup potentially, and Backwill this time on Diablo with even the Abathur support, so survivability on his end should be pretty decent. And what else are we gonna get here? Still need a bit more damage on the other side. Are we gonna see something along the lines of Li Ming now? Li Ming would definitely be an option. You kinda still wanna have another melee on the side lane. Imperius maybe even an option for them. They play a lot around that. Hanzo and Imperius, yep. Here we have it. Honor! Honor! Alright. Hanzo back to business. And last pick, last but not least, for Wind and Rain. What are we gonna get on their end? They need a bit more damage on this lineup. Actually, support would probably not be a bad idea either. Could go Rhaegar, honestly. It's a map where you can play around camps. If you're not so worried about the camps, then there's other supports that are definitely better. And it seems like that's not going to be an issue for them with the Dehaka and Abathur. They go for Ana instead. So with this, we're having also the nano boost for Jaina for the fights. Definitely a preferable option. And that's it for game number 2. Cursed Hollow is the map, so let's jump right into it without further ado. Game number 2, and we are good to go on Cursed Hollow. Our second map with the lead for Wind and Rain, the 1-0 in the best of 5 here in Division S. Galgulna on Ana, Mak on Jaina, Skog on Abathur, Berghult on Dibbles, and we have Max Passion on Dehaka. And on the right side, the Russian team, starting with Stork on ETC, Bonabir on Hanzo, we have Tyrande on Korea Martian again. We're seeing Farlander on Maiev and Shamzik on Imperius. 5, 4, 3, 2, I don't know, Imperius is always a funny one for me. Let the battle begin. Do you guys remember the old days? Notorious. That's kind of the way that I always hear Imperius in my head whenever he's picked for the first time. So yeah, it might be a little bit too old school for some of the people watching this right now. But yeah, it puts an interesting twist on the hero as a pick, at least from the meme perspective. Either way, we're having the scatter arrow build again committed to with the simple geometry on level 1. So that's going to help a lot with the bosses on the map. And this is definitely one of the most interesting maps for this. But again, the setup here with a quick setup through. Oh, that could actually be a kill. That is a kill. Nice. The setup, as I was about to say, with the sleeping dart here from Galnugulna, and then they are able to follow up on it with Diablo, and they actually get a kill thanks to Abathur's extra damage as well. So yeah, nicely done. Shamzik going for the bush, and Skog already moved away from that position, but yeah, that could have of course been a kill. Slug hunting is going to be an absolute thing. We're having currently the well, 1 kill taken, but in terms of talents, Prokrok on level 1. And at the top side, Shamzik is now fighting against Berghult with an Abathur head. Now, Abathur is always changing the dynamic of every single game pretty easily. I mean, if you think about it, one of the big things is obviously if you already have a 1 versus 1 setup, the balance on that lane gets quickly changed when Abathur commits with a head to the lane, because he offsets the power balance on the lane there. But it can be a little bit tricky for him at times to really get a lane pushed out by himself, depending on who he's up against. The interesting part is really coming into play when we have the objective on the map, because right now you have a setup where Dehaka, for example, can stay bot side, And then even when he commits to the tribute fight at the top, you can body soak with Abathur at the bottom of the map. So there is a lot of that to be expected in this game. Body soaking should be a high priority. Level 4 talents are in. The Haka now with the Hero Stalker on level 1 after initially going into the enhanced agility. So having the movement speed bonus for him, especially when he comes into those team fights. Stalk. Needs to be a bit careful of the initial death in particular. Bot lane is where Hanzo is currently fighting it out against the Haka with the camp that has been taken. Camp obviously also on the side of the blue team as they are pushing through the mid lane. Max Passion still sitting at the bottom. Big battle here in the middle. Nice stun attempt by Backward. Doesn't quite get the wall stun off, but is still able to make it close. And now the objective is up on the map. This is a setup where if you are the Abathur team, you're at least trying to always push this out a little bit and at least delay it. The problem that you have with the Abathur setup is you're missing one hit point pool in those team fights, and that can be a problem because you can't take as much damage. So if your opponent is able to exploit that early game and get 2 tributes, then they can easily force you into a fight over the third. So if you can actually delay this a bit as an Abathur team, you're always in a decent position. Abathur with a soak in the mid lane right now. In the meantime, the Haka's at the bottom, trying to get some value here. But top side is where we currently have a 3 versus 5, because obviously Team Russia wants to get this one quickly. And there's no more interrupt, so Khaldor Martian gets that easily. Turanda takes that. Stalk a bit in trouble, not too much. Tether comes in, that's a kill. That's Jaina down, that's a kill right there. Hanzo gets the follow-up. And that makes up a bit for that soak that we're seeing from the Haka and Abathur on the side lanes. So they're obviously starting to rotate away from this. But that was a tribute, that was a kill. That's a decent start into this. So obviously you want to force the fight later. There's a next tribute already being announced now too. Dibble's getting into position. We're having Mule committed to on level 7 by Abathur. Bot side, that's where Max Passion has nearly gotten the entire wall here. He has gotten the entire wall, takes the last one there as well. Still with a drag and not quite with the max speed just yet, but he's getting there. So yeah, race car Abathur is a thing. I mean, later on, if you're looking at 16 and Abathur committing to the movement speed bonus, you can get that even increased more. Down at the, here comes the attempt for a channel again. Russians are already in. Farlander a little bit low. Nice stun from Shamzik. Gets the double there. Yeah, but they're starting to go for Farlander once more. And he's completely surrounded. Jumps out and still falls to Abathur. That's a killer. That's a good one. ETC was not here, by the way. Drag doesn't connect. Barnaby gets away. And with this, we're having tribute number 2 claimed by good old Wind and Rain here. So yeah, push through the top side. Shamzik, oh, gets actually pushed out and needs to be careful. There's body blocking galore happening, but he's still able to lunge over the wall. Backwell, on the other hand, he nearly fell, because all of a sudden Hanzo started to put in a word in that particular battle. Nearly the entire stacks now committed to by Dibbles. He's sitting on 96. Stalk sitting here at the bot lane still. Actually going for the gate with the symbiote. We're also having now level 10. Getting a little bit closer, but it shouldn't really play a role for the next tribute just yet, as we have that already announced. Stacking quests are coming up nicely though. Especially ETC with the prog rock is currently sitting at 14, likely to get to 16 soon. Hasn't gone into Echo Paddle, by the way, so if he plans to go into Stage Dive to mirror the Haka a little bit, he will not have that wave clear to capitalize upon. In comes the slide against ETC, follow-up stun. They're trying to make the play for Diablo, and he's completely body blocked. He's completely zoned out. He's not getting out of this one anytime soon, but thanks to Ana behind him, he doesn't care. And now we have Shamzik about to fall. He just jumps out and Diablo has finally fallen. Farlander and Shamzik both looked like they would die. Diablo thought, okay, I have a chance here. Makes the play, but falls, gets the reset. There's the level 10s right now. Max Passion gets sniffed out. No level 10 for the Russians yet. They might have to give this up after all, despite the kill that they just got. Here's already the copy on Jaina, as we're having the double Jaina on the map. And the tribute gets channeled by Wind and Rain. The Russians, they need to be a bit careful here. Keep in mind, they're down 1 game in the series. And obviously, they are in a position where they kind of went into the series as the favorite, I'd say. It's a little bit tricky because I feel Wind and Rain did not quite get the result that they deserved in a lot of the previous matches that they had. But generally speaking, I would have given the Russians definitely a bit of an upper hand. But then again, we haven't seen them in a while because of how the scheduling worked out. So at this point, they are starting to fall a little bit behind here. It's not by a big margin or anything, but they lost another tribute. They are already one map behind. It's a very late game heavy setup that we're seeing for Wind and Rain too, because they have those globals. ETC still went into the stage dive. Has to be expected. We talked about this earlier. You want to mirror Dehaga's movement, especially when there's also Abathar on the map, so you need to do something in that late game to kind of have a global ace in the hole. But with that said, Barracuda and his boys are currently taking the camp down here in the middle, so they have a bit of a push set up that they can utilize now. And the tribute is actually spawning on their side of the map, so it spawns here more towards the left, which definitely is going to favor them slightly. Up to the top, on the other hand, there's a fight for the boss, and that's a nice setup by the Russians. The question is that going to be a curse against them, yes or no? And with the tribute now spawning and there's not going to be enough interrupt potential, I think that's likely going to be the case. The first interrupt is in. Shamzik, I don't think he can get this one. That's going to be a curse. So they're pretty much accepting that they're going to get cursed, but they take a boss in the meantime. And now they're just spreading out onto lanes. I'm actually curious to see how this is going to work out now, because they have to also deal with the camp in the middle. It's nearly taken down, but still. It's actually in a really good spot so that the minions are not immediately eliminated. This could honestly be a curse where Wind and Rain doesn't get a lot of value out of it. We're already having... Oops, we're having a fight down here at the bottom. Oh, the ring! But Jaina is still dead. The counter kill, though, against Maiev and against Imperius. In comes the big arrow from the opposite side of the map, and that drops Ana pretty much single-handedly. And trying to make the play for Diablo again, and Stork is likely to get this kill. Yep, there it is, and now they're going for Skog 2. And that's obviously only the copy, but still dropping that as well. 3 kills already taken. And when it comes to structures on the map, I mean, the only thing that has really fallen is the bot lane fort. Everything else is still looking strong. Stork is currently trying to make sure that the mid lane doesn't fall. He has his own quest now completed too. The Russians with an insane triple kill. I mean, honestly, the Russians with a great kill right there. And that was fantastic. That arrow that we saw from Hanzo just cross map did solid work. And now you look at the experience, and we even have a lead for Team Russia, and there's only a single structure that was taken out by their opponent. They still have to fight a bit over the middle fort because it has taken damage, but damn son, that was a great setup there that they had the entire time. The boss has actually started to get committed to. This is a bit of a weird one because the arrow is already, or the owl is already flying and sniffs that out. It's the only boss on the map, so there's no trade in bosses at this point. You can definitely play around that. Shamzik already starting to move in. Okay, here comes the ETC. Power Slide probably coming in a moment. The Haka is committing to it too. Booping him out of the stun. That was a bit weird. Armament in the back. Containment is being used. Ring connects with 2. And they're trying to get the kill against ETC. And that's the end of Stork. But Diablo has fallen as well. Both of the frontliners down. 1-for-1 trade. But here comes the attack again. Skog has the copy on Jaina. The double Jaina with the attack against Tyrande. One miss. Tyrande might actually be able to get out of this. Marke wants to connect, gets it, and that's the end of Tyrande. Tyrande falls, but what about the Haka? The Haka gets also dropped, and now all of a sudden Marke is isolated completely. Marke is isolated, and he might get a counter kill there. Banabir, oh, and the kill! Marke, you monster! You little beast! And now Khaldor gets followed too. Farlander nearly fell, but yep, they are able to get another kill. And what an insane setup in this game. 9 kills against 7, half level away from 16 for the Russians. They have camps now pushing through the bot lane too, but what an absolute delight here. 1 kill after another, and Marke with that counter kill against Hanzo was pretty special. Obviously I had a little bit of assistance there from Abathar as well, who's sitting on the Soma Transference now as his level 13 talent, but damn son, that's a game right there. Jaina with 35,000 damage, 30,000 for Abathar, 29k for Hanzo, and they're now making the plays again for the camps. Now keep the build in mind that we have for Hanzo too. We talked about this earlier. I want to highlight this again. The explosive arrow has actually been chosen here and never outmatched. 16 is ready, boss, and the rotation is in, thanks to Tyrande and the constant vision that she provides, and know exactly about this. Top side, we have a bit of a staring contest between Max Passion and Stork, but keep in mind, that Abathur is going to offset the balance between those heroes quite significantly. And they go for the boss, they give them the tribute, and they're saying like, you know what, you can get that bloody tribute, we don't give a shit. We're going for the boss at the same time down to the bottom of the map, and then we'll see what you do with it. Because it's literally your first tribute, and we're gonna get more out of this. Honestly think it's a great trade, especially since they have another camp in the middle. That means that more of the attention of Wind and Rain is diverted towards it. And now they're likely to get value down here. 16 against 16. Well, that was a pretty decent one to take, 12 minutes in. And they can make the push now. They have vision in the mid lane from most of these heroes. They see the rotation, but it's definitely not going to change that they can take the wall itself. And ETC is still top lane. ETC is still top lane, and here's stage dive. He can jump in too if they want. If they want to actually take the battle. Fort is taken, not even contested. In the meantime, we had the commitment towards the Bruiser camp. And now with the structures here on the map claimed, they're looking decent. It's also putting an equilibrium on the bot lane again, because both of the teams have now lost one fort there, which means that catapults are spawning for both. Still the pressure down at the bot side, and let's not forget that we're having at the same time, obviously, still another tribute coming in. Mid lane, on the other hand, that's a different story. Mid lane, this is where we're going to see a fort fall. So I'm actually, the longer they stay, the more it looks to me that if they want to commit to the keep itself, maybe into a team fight. And yep, there comes the stage dive. Going in with the stage dive, trying to make a play there. Containment disc in the back against Dibbles. There's the copy on Jaina. They're going for Ana. Ana got rooted actually after this, and that's her. That's the end of her. Shamsi is also low though, and he falls shortly after. But they're going for Diablo again. Ring connects with one. Jaina with the ice block, and the bullseye with Tyrande and her stun. The Russians with a trademark aggression again. Stork is able to survive through this, which is an insane in and of itself. But the mule, obviously, that's the big factor here. Another wave is coming in from minions. They need to take the mule down, and they do. They want to get the keep here, as we're only having Abathur next passionate. In comes again the drag in the mid lane. The fort has already been destroyed, but the Russians, they go for the keep, and they get the keep. And over to the mid lane, that's obviously, that has to be dealt with. Someone needs to go in and take that out. Nicely done at this point. The Russians, once again, with absolutely 6 city plays here. Having ETC now moving in at the site, of course, as well. Trying to make sure that they are not only getting the experience, but also that this keep doesn't take any damage. So the Russians are ahead. Not only in levels, not only in kills, but also in structures on the map. At least when it comes to the important structures. Don't get me wrong, they lost the fort, obviously. But they have taken down the first keep of the game, and that matters, since the bot lane is now continuously applying the pressure against Wind and Rain. And when we're talking about, let's say, a top boss, that's always going to be a huge factor. Especially, of course, with ETC in his main tank role here with the stage dive, able to make that play there. ETC still at the top. Stork still waiting for an opportunity to jump in. I mean, he has the cooldown ready. Diablo completing the quest for now. And here comes the jump. They're going for Backhold again. Here comes the Apocalypse. Nice sleep. Fantastic setup against ETC. That was brilliant. Sleeping Dart, Apocalypse, and Ring of Frost, and they murdered him. The problem is that Farlander is absolutely wrecking them right now. Already the kill against Jaina. Now Diablo falls too. They're trying to get more, especially Gulnagul now, of course, has very little chance of escaping from this one. And what we're currently seeing from Tyrande is also just absolutely epic. One connect after another the entire time, sitting at 11 stacks right now. Another connect against Max Passion. Racecar, no Racecar is trying to get away here. They're trying to go for a kill against Farlander, but he survives that too. Fantastic play. Level 20 is now ready for them. Bot lane is pushing aggressively. Maiev, on the other hand, gets taken down as Diablo moves in for the kill. That's definitely a problem. Now the question is, what can they actually get out of that team fight? Can they get the top boss? That was pretty much the initial goal, but they couldn't get that just now. So with Diablo coming back in with the help of Abathur, they at least got that counter kill. But the bot lane is still pressuring. Abathur is already having mines ready, so he knows exactly what's happening at the top of the map. But they don't have anything that they can rotate over. I mean, right now, Berghult is just dealing with the bot side because they can't allow a Siege Giant camp plus 2 catapults to push onto the core. And they don't have level 20 either. So this is just the boss that you have to accept that you're not going to get it. You have to give it up. And it's quickly taken too. Now with the level 20 talents in, we have also Bullseye, ETC. What is he going for? We're going to see the Death Mosh here. Same time, the scout over to the left side as Muck and Gulnagul take the Siege Giant camp. But now there's a Curse Tribute right here. And the boss, I mean, that is a 16-minute boss. That thing starts to hurt. There's at least catapults over here, and on top of that we of course have those siege giants as well, but the boss is still going to do solid damage. And the position around the tribute down at the bottom has already been claimed. And this is honestly going to be a little bit crazy. I mean, it's 20 versus 20 right now, but that pressure at the top lane is not going to get any easier at this point for Wind and Rain. You have to deal with that eventually, and that boss is going to do damage to the keep. Might even take it down. Down here, it's all about positioning right now against that setup that we're seeing. 16 against 10. And they're just zoning with backpull as much as they can right now. Farlander's already sitting at the side here, by the way. The Haka is trying to wrap around, is trying to come in from the flank, but there's already the channel. The blue team is cursed. The top fort, the top keep is 100% going to fall now. That boss is going to wreck them. Here's the Ring of Frost, the Apocalypse. Just no value for Wind and Rain. They're in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. Maka with a nano boost. He's trying to get some kills in, but there's already the copy eliminated on Diablo. They get the kill against Imperius, but Dibbles is dead. ETC with the power slide. Nice ice block for Maka. But the top is starting to slowly fall. That keep is in trouble, and in a lot of it at that. Keep is definitely going to fall there eventually. Bottom catapults are already on the core itself. The fight here in the middle as we're seeing Jaina fall, and the Russians with kill number 18 as they are trying to make the play through the middle here. Top keep about to fall. The bottom shields are taken apart by the catapults coming in. Another drag for Max Passion as Farlander is looking for the tether, but a nice move again from the Haka as he dodges it. The problem is with 2 heroes down and a lot of the ults missing, the core is slowly starting to fall, but keep that mule in mind. The Haka goes down, the mule is already getting dropped, and I don't think they can defend this right now. There's still catapults coming in from the top. The mule is doing what it can, but they're making the play for Anna, and she is dead as well, and that's the Russians tying their series as they drop Wind and Rain on Cursed Hollow, taking the victory and tying the best of 5 here Division S. GG. Well played. Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen. Team Russia against Wind and Rain. Game number 3. And the Russians coming out swinging on Cursed Hollow. Definitely doing well there. But yeah, so for now we have a tie in the series. I like it. I mean, it is the best of 5. Again, this is not going to be the final map. We're at least going to get one more after Tomb of the Spider Queen. But I like that the Russians are fighting back there. That's kind of what you expect from them. And I would assume that Maiev is going to be banned again. Not only because it is Tomb of the Spider Queen, but also because, yeah, they're pretty good with Maiev. It's one of these things where if you give Farlander Maiev, it's just a little bit the same like if you're playing against nothing left and you give Blakitne Maiev. You usually do that once, and then you don't do it again. So I would expect Maiev to be banned here. But yeah, let's have a... There's my F ban actually from Team Russia this time. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You have actually a setup where Wind and Rain has first pick, first ban, so it's the map choice of Team Russia. So they want to avoid that. And again, the ban against Mephisto. This is something that you solely see against Wind and Rain because of how often Maka has played that particular hero. And at this point, just everybody respects it too much. It's just like, yeah, we don't want to deal with this. This is just a little bit too much for us. So now we're having Maka on Li Ming. Well, likely, again, they can switch that around. So it's not like forced into the hero. But oftentimes he ends up being the Li Ming player for them. Depends a bit on what else they want to play here. If you, for example, would in addition to Li Ming see a Tracer here being picked, then Maka would definitely shift his focus. But now Stalk with Diablo. Good map for that, of course, too. And Ana picked by them. So no more nano boost shenanigans on the other side. They themselves want to go for it. And yeah, let's see what else we're gonna have. Band in particular. Backhold actually this time on Garrosh. Keep in mind, we talked a lot about his Johanna, his Tyrael play, and Garrosh being his like 3rd hero when we're talking about melees most of the time. So now Garrosh and Tyrande. If you get the combo off, that's pretty much a dead target right there. With most heroes at least. So you get the flip in, you get the follow-up stun, Maka can drop the damage. Tomb is obviously also a bit of a momentum-based map. So that's gonna play a factor there too. The Jaina ban. This is actually interesting. With Li Ming already picked, they still ban Jaina. So they are actually looking at Wind and Rain and they're saying, well, it's usually not a thing, but we've seen double mage. And we are going to make sure that you're not going to be able to just stun someone out or get a taunt through later and just get burst kills. We have seen a couple of double mage comps. Again, they're rare. They are rare, but they do exist. And that can be a scary one. Khaldor gets banned. Alright. We're getting there. Most of the mage is gone at this point. Who do you nano boost? Are we gonna see some Gul'dan set up? First of all, we have Hanzo committed to. What's gonna happen on the off lane? Are we gonna have maybe something like Malthael being played here? Nah, it's Leo. This time they get Leo. Khaldor banned. It's an interesting one. Okay. Let's see. I'm a little bit curious what we get at the last damage now for Banabir, but I wouldn't have expected anything on the lines of the Khaldor, to be honest. There's Thrall. Phoenix comes in again. Played a lot in China, but in Europe we've seen very little Phoenix actually. It's starting to come back a little bit more. So I have Phoenix in play. Team Russia, what are they going to go for? Last pick on their end for the Russians. On Tomb. Something that would work with Ana. Again, Gul'dan is an option if you want to pick that. Go down that path. I mean, there's more available. It's not only Gul'dan, but you want to have wave clear, right? So for them, it is Gul'dan. Alright, there we go. Game number 3. The series is tied. Let's find out which team takes the lead in the best of 5. Game number 3. The lead is going to either one of these teams. Which team will get that second map and enter the 4th with a significant advantage and the potential to decide the map in their favor. Win and Rain is starting this time with Skog on Phoenix on the left side, Backhold on Garrosh, Khaldor on Tyrande, Max Passion on Thrall, and Macke on Li Ming. Over the right side, we currently have Stork on Diablo, Banabir on Gul'dan, we're seeing Farland on Hanzo, Shamsig on Leoric, and Kolya Martian is playing Ana. It's gonna be a good one. They felt a little bit hesitant around the Gul'dan pick, I feel. But yeah, I'm definitely a little bit hyped for this one right now. I feel like the setup on the red team side is insanely good, but Stork on Diablo, a good Diablo player can just offset the balance so easily, especially on a map like Tomb of Spider Queen. Comes down to a lot of momentum that we're going to have there. Either way, at this point, Backhold goes for the flip. Nicely done by Stork. Not only putting Backhold, that was fantastic. I mean, Backhold survives, but the entire move by Stork there did not only put pressure onto Backhold and nearly got Garrosh killed, but it also saved Stork just before that stun comes in from Tyrande. So that was really, really well done by him. It was an honestly nice push. They're trying to go for a bit of damage against Macke. Oh, that bit of damage turns into a lot of damage and nearly a kill there. Stork, on the other hand, he falls. Yeah, this time a bit too much. We have Diablo going up against Garrosh, and the battle between the two of them is a fun one. In this case, it is an early kill. Either way, talking about kills, down at the bottom of the map, the easy solo kill for Max Passion. What the hell? Shamsig goes down, and nicely played. Farlander wants the kill against Phoenix, he doesn't get it. But that was an interesting setup here. I mean, right now we have still Macke poking around. We have at the bot lane Leo obviously going to try and make up for that little mistake. It doesn't really seem like he lost too much there in terms of gems. But obviously the 2 kills against 0 are now starting to have a bit of an impact for experience too. Macke again getting murdered here by Gul'dan's damage. 10 stacks already on the level 1. But still a setup in which we are seeing a player in blue doing pretty good. Not dying just now. They're going for the camp here. Like, a lot earlier actually than their opponent, so that should help them with a bit of push there. At the bottom of the map, we are still having a setup in which Max Passion is currently doing really well. I mean, he has his 12 stacks together too, right? So on top of not only getting the kill against Leo, he was also able to get a lot of stacks in. 2 minutes in, he's sitting at 12. Now having again the quick hit here in the mid lane, trying to drop the towers at the same time. There's another camp taken towards the right, so the two of them gonna clash against each other right now. Diablo still top side. Nice hits also from Gul'dan, who's currently sitting at 17 stacks pretty early in the game. He's gonna complete that Echo Corruption probably soon. There's a pressure play against Shamsig on the other hand. Again, the power play against Leo, but this time he doesn't fall. Max Passion baiting a little bit in this case. And Li Ming goes down at the top lane. This time Gul'dan is actually able to drop her, and that is a fair amount of gems that's now lost. We have, with kills on both sides now, equal gems for the two teams, which is kind of interesting. But the connect down at the bottom as everybody starts to head in, realizing that Thrall and Phoenix would go for the camp. So that's stolen away. That is nicely done. That is actually like pretty neat. Getting the camp here. At the same time, we're now already having in the mid lane Stark push it out a little bit more. 18 stacks for Thrall. 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. Again, it's an early completion here for him for sure. He actually got slowed down a little bit. Could have even completed it earlier, but everything around... I mean, if you get it at 4:20, then you're absolutely golden. And Gul'dan actually dying in the middle. I mean, we have currently a couple of fights all over the place here. The bot lane continues again with Max Passion, also slightly in trouble. And barely able to move out of harm's way. Sitting at a completed quest, 3 minutes and 41. Kill against Leo, and that's a lot of gems here, and someone has to take those, and that's Farlander. So he claims most of them. Not a single gem has been turned in, by the way. And with 4 kills against 1, the red team is actually starting to really suffer on the gem count. Like, the blue team is doing much, much better with this. They're about to get the first Web Weaver wave, and they have the early level 7 as well. They're trying to get the stun against Shamsik. They get the root, and as a follow-up, a bit more extra damage too. Level 7 is finally ready. There's another 6 turned in. Li Ming turns in her own gems as well. Stork is trying to do pretty much the same. No, he's rotating down. They want to force the fight here on level 7. Barnaby again in trouble, but Phoenix is all of a sudden getting attacked, and that could be a kill, and it is a kill. Nicely played here. Russians again with the aggression. Farlander still poking. Leo now down 2, so a trade. Still a positive one. Leo is definitely a hero you can sacrifice in the early game. You can't sacrifice Thrall with 19 gems on the other hand, and they're zoning them out as well. Not only do they get the kill against Thrall, they completely zone the gems, and that is 19 lost right there. Great setup here. Thrall dying was a huge setback. And now you look at the amount of gems that we have, with Stork on 26 by himself, another 8 on Barnaby. They can get that turn in. They can get an easy turn in right now. And they are even inexperienced again. At the top of the map, we're having Backhold again, trying to go for the experience here too. When it comes to the stacks on Gul'dan, he's at now sitting on 21 for the Echoed Corruption. So it's really starting to get the progress there as well. And I mean, it reflects also on the damage output. With 15,000 damage already dished out, Gul'dan is currently the top damage dealer in the game. Even ahead of Phoenix, who's sitting at 13k. And Phoenix has been doing a lot of work, especially with the rotations that we have down towards the bottom of the map. It's honestly it was a pretty sick setup. He has just been stacking the damage here. And they've been getting those kills in against Leoric, who has now died 3 times. So the one thing that I want to highlight again with Leo is that when you are in the early stages of the game, you can sacrifice Leoric for sure. Because he is respawning, as you can see, right on the point. You don't have to travel back from the Nexus onto the lane. And that is actually a massive advantage, especially as the death timers are still very low. And during all of this, he can still participate in fights by providing slows. And obviously, you get vision through him too. So in early game stages, that's definitely an advantage that you will have with Leo that you can use. The problem on this map is that if he dies, or when he dies, you are going to relieve him also of all of the gems. So unless he gets the turn in first, you can want to keep him alive here. But if you are in a team fight, he's normally the one that wants to draw a lot of attention, and where you are okay if he dies eventually. Obviously you don't want to YOLO in and just sacrifice him for no reason, but if you can trade against important cooldowns in a fight, where your team understands that and then capitalizes on that fact, then it's absolutely alright. So now with the Web Weavers coming in, we're having the push in the middle already enhanced by the entire wave pushed into the wall itself. Stork is already looking for a potential target, but he has to be careful of Backhold here. Leo is at the bot lane. Top lane was also pressured out, which means they can now start to get a few more stacks in. Nice. Backhold in trouble, and in a lot of trouble at that, and that is the end of Garrosh. Garrosh dead at the bottom of the map. Shamsik against Max Passion. There's also Phoenix, obviously. But the wall there has fallen. Still the fight in the middle. Li Ming gets attacked there. Shamsik has to be a bit careful, but he still gets the damage onto the fort itself. And they've actually damaged a lot. They've not only taken down the wall at the bottom and here in the middle, they are now able to also take the damage onto the fort itself at the top lane. And an early level 10 might even allow them to go for a fight here. I kind of doubt it a bit. And they're not really far ahead. It could be one of those snap things, you know, when you get level 10 and if you're in a good position, you might drop a quick Horrify or an Entomb on your opponent. Talking Entomb. Yeah, Max Passion just moving out, but there's the Entomb. There's the wall stun into the Entomb. The arrow gets used as well. Max Passion is about to be dead. I was actually waiting for Backhill to throw him out there. But yeah, there's the salvo and the counter kill against Shamsi. That's 14 gems that they just lost. They used the cooldowns, they try to go for the quick kill. Now the attempt to go for the APOC, that didn't find any value. The combo not quite working out. Taunt already being used against Diablo. Stork trying to escape here. Horrified, but Phoenix not affected. And he gets the kill. Jumps after Farlander. Hanzo now in trouble. Leo coming back, but there's the kill. And that is a bit of a disaster right now for the Russians. They had a great start, but now they're losing Leo again. That's 3 kills against them. And all of a sudden, despite the fact that Team Russia got a sick amount of value out of the first objective. I mean, look at those forts. Every single one of them is on 50% HP, but they still stand. And here's the turn in for Wind and Rain. Their first turn in, by the way. And they have already taken the lead in experience here. How much can they get out of the objective now? That's the question. That's the big question. But that was an absolute crazy good setup here. The initial idea was actually fantastic by Team Russia. You go for the Entomb, you get the wall stun in, Hanzo follows up with an arrow, you get the quick kill against Thrall, but then the rotation of Wind and Rain was fast enough to turn it around, and with most of their cooldowns already committed to, they were not available for the fight any longer. So at this point, the push through the middle, and that's a big one. I mean, Spell Aura, Web Weaver, and it's a 4-man setup here. This is brutal, and that's already a fort gone. I mean, you have no chance there. Bottom of the map, though, Shamsik is actually taking down the Web Weaver here super early. It's good for him. But in the mid lane, they're losing that fort. There's no doubt about that. But Wind and Rain, as you can tell, they want to get the lead in the series now. They're kind of done with losing on the 5th map or late on, but Li Ming, especially Marker, wants to get the kill. And they're going for Stork now, too. Here's the... Oh, nice! Arrow into APOC. They're trying to get the kill against Phoenix, and they do. They do. Phoenix goes down, and they're trying for more. Nice! A perfect Entomb. Fantastic Entomb. Not only does it catch Tyrande, but it also isolates 2 more heroes. Backhill is trying to run away. That's 19 gems that he's about to lose here. I do not think that he has a chance of escaping. Or does he? Nah, no way. Okay. So he's down as well. There's a lot of gems lost there. What a fantastic Entomb by Leo. Shamsik with a great one. He pretty much killed 3 heroes with that Entomb. He set that up for 3 heroes that were eliminated here. Nicely done for sure. Let's have a look at the damage output. 32,000 now for Hanzo. Gul'dan is sitting at 21k. We're having 26,000 for Li Ming. And experience is again the same. I mean, the structural advantage is still in favor of Wind and Rain, but keep in mind, 1 more objective for the Russians and they're likely to get 3 forts. With how much they've already taken that down. So that's something to keep in mind here. And when it comes to the gem count, it's actually kind of funny at this point. I mean, the 2 teams have literally only turned in 50 gems each. And now we're having 24 in the hands of Wind and Rain since they just lost 3 heroes. And 49 for the Russians still. It's honestly a little bit insane. Fight at the bot lane. Great stun, great kill. Ana is down. That was an easy one again, and they're going for the next one against Gul'dan, but the Horrify denies it, at least for now. Here comes the attempt to take another kill. A nice setup here around the Apocalypse again, but it's not good enough. And Shamsik is gonna fall. That's Leo dead again, and that's even more gems lost. They just had enough for another turn in, and now they lost out on that again. 14 against 14, 12 kills against 8. It's a full-on brawl here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Little bit of a, well, slightly known fun fact. Did you know that Tomb of the Spider Queen is actually right underneath Sky Temple? A little bit of an Easter egg with Harrison Jones that you might have seen in the past. And he literally descends from Sky Temple. So, there's they go for the boss. At this point, it's a 5 versus 5. They actually gonna let this go? Yep, they do. Arrow into the back, boss is gone. They try to go for the kills. Shamsik again low, and they might get another kill against Leo, but no, not quite. Ana keeps them alive here. But yeah, that little endeavor towards the top was already thwarted by Team Russia. No boss for you, baby. Not happening. Same time now, we're having them looking for the next fight already. 16 talents, obviously the next big milestone for both of the teams. The Wind and Rain is likely to get it a little bit earlier. With this, we're now having again stuns coming out there. So far 12 connected. from Gulnar. Horrify, only hitting one, only hitting Garrosh, so that is not enough. That is not enough for sure. At this point, that is a problem. That's a big cooldown that you just sacrificed there. Dibbles is having his stacks back, but obviously what the Russian team really wants is try to take a couple of structures down and attempt to also finally allow Banabir to get his together. I mean, once you have the Ruinous Affliction, you really want to have the Echoed Corruption. Usually you attempt to get it a bit sooner than that. There's a 16 already for their opponent. Mirror Ball comes in for Marke. They're setting up around the turning point again. Only one team has enough gems to turn in at this point, and it is Team Russia. They've delivered 33 already. Camps colliding in the mid lane. They're immediately attempting to burn it down on both sides. 16, that's what they need, and they're going to get it any second. There it is. Now it would be a fight on even talents again. Ruinous Affliction is in. And obviously Leo is going to get even more value now with the Royal Focus that he has. That's a big one for him for sure. Leo's already sitting at the side right there. Shamsik is waiting for an opportunity to make the play. It's not been sniffed out yet. There's also the Thunderstorm completed for Thralls, a little bit more control over the team fight. Ooh, nice damage against Marke. Really nice setup. Shamsik ghosting around and allowing Stalk to turn in. 42 against 42 turned in. Both at this point can complete it and Backhold gets it. But it's not enough. 52. Farlander gets 8. 52 against 50. Who rotates top? Marke is the one. He's completely in vision. Interrupt. Marke can turn in. They're going to get it. They're going to get it. But here's the arrow. Here's the fight. And here's the apocalypse. What a setup again. Nicely done. The kill attempt against Backhold. But Backhold already saving Max Passion. And now the full team wipe. This setup was crazy at the beginning. It was so good. And then Backhold not only saves Thrall, but he himself doesn't die. Maki comes in from the side and they wipe them off the floor. They have the push at the top lane already against it. Down here, they're going for the keep. They might even go for game right now. The Web Weavers are coming in. The only one that's currently standing is Diablo, as he had the souls. What an insane battle. The initial start was fantastic. They got the Entomb, they got the Apocalypse, and then just of course, Tyrande first of all with the heals here. The throw from Garrosh keeping Thrall alive. Now another quick kill against, Leo. And they might just go for core. Actually, at this point, they don't dare it because it's still 4 heroes on the map. But the keep is down, the bottom fort falls, the top one has fallen already. They can still make the pressure. What an insane one. What an absolutely insane fight that was. Again, the lockdown. Farlander in trouble, and he gets away. But that was definitely too close for comfort here. 18 kills against 8. But the game's not over yet. Not a single fort lost for Wind and Rain. And with them, like, the big part here is obviously not only that they wiped them, they also, through that, denied all of the gems to them. They just lost everything. As again, the Horrify. Marke got thrown out. Apocalypse is in again, but he's able to get out. The Russians desperate to force something, but they just can't get the damage through. Here's the Salvo again, gets good damage out, puts everybody low, and forces them to retreat for the time being. 2 levels ahead right now. Massive lead for them. Leo comes in again, doesn't have the Entomb, but he still has the slows. The problem is he doesn't have HP anymore. He's down, and now we're having the turnaround attempt again. Obviously, the Russians are trying to force it before level 20 is there for Wind and Rain, but right now they might have bitten off a little bit too much. Bot lane, massive approach here. Keep down in the bottom, in the middle. The fight is still up at the top, and now the minions are starting to home in onto the core itself, taking last few waves down, and the catapults are spawning continuously here. 54,000 damage on Marke's side with Liming, 63 for Hanzo, but it is Wind and Rain that absolutely dominates this. Another kill against Diablo, and this time he's down for the count. The lanes are again converging onto the core, and at the top the only keep is still standing here. You know, they're looking for the kill, and they get the kill. Gul'dan is down, and they go for Leo once more. He's dead, and obviously at this point we already have the 20s, which means that we're having the Unconquered Spirit. Great arrow again from Farlander, but it's just not enough. The stun even connects with him. He might fall, but Kolya Martian is keeping him alive for the time being. But obviously the lanes, they are just pressuring onto the core. The shield is nearly gone. At the top we're having the fort, they keep taking damage too, and they are trying to go for the 2-1 lead right now. Crazy good setup, crazy good game by Wind and Rain here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and they're going to take the lead in the series. Another kill, and that's 23, 24 kills against 8. What a slaughter as Wind and Rain takes the lead in the best of 5. Alterac Pass, game number 4, Team Russia against Wind and Rain. It is a winter map, the Russians might be there. Russians are pretty good when they fight in winter, as you might have heard. There was like 1 or 2 occasions where that was already true, and they immediately ban out Samuro. Alright, no Blade Master in this one. But yeah, Team Russia actually hasn't even chosen the map, it was Wind and Rain. It's another big map though. And against Wind and Rain, you have to kind of anticipate there might be some shenanigans happening here. They ban out Berghold's Tyrael again, but that also means that Abathur is currently still up and could be claimed. So is Dehaka. So we're talking about the globals again. That's another thing that you have to kind of watch out for. Dehaka, ETC with a stage dive, Abathur. Falstead even on this map, more so than on others that we've seen. Vikings, yes, maybe not with those teams. But Farlander gets his Maiev again. So that's the first thing that happens. Farlander gets the Maiev set up, and there's Abathur and there's Tracer. Like, snap. Wind and Rain, obviously, at this point, they want the 3-1. They want to take Team Russia down. And Team Russia is they have to play 2 matches in a row today. 2 best-of-5s. They postponed some of their games, so now they have to face the fact here that they need to still play 2 games, and both of them happening today. So this is only the first series, pretty much their warm-up. And so far, the warm-up has actually kicked back pretty hard. The Russians again. What are they going to pick? Dibbles once more, okay. And Malfurion, so we have Abathur taken. We don't have Dehaka yet in the game. We don't have Falstad. ETC could still be taken, as we've seen previously. ETC, you can still play him with stage dive in a main tank role. You can play him as the side laner. Both of them is possible, depending on how you're setting your draft up there. And what else? Are we going to go through bans here, particularly speaking? Jaina, alright. Interesting that they ban Jaina. I mean, they have Tracer at this point. So yeah, there's the Garrosh. Yeah, Garrosh with Abathur head is also pretty nuts. But yeah, double Jaina is obviously pretty strong. But then again, you have Tracer, so Maka is already there. Depends a bit on what they want to go for. Main tank and off lane, if you can get a good copy of that. I mean, Monty would be amazing. If we get Monty the Monstrosity here, whew, that would be fire, would be hype. But I don't think so. Can't even remember when I've seen Monty play the last time on a competitive level. There's Tyrande and Muradin. Muradin, another great recipient of a symbiote from Abathur. Alright, that's also, of course, Muradin Tyrande, stun into stun. And then Tracer can come in with the damage. Question just simply for me is, what else are they going to pick here? I expect an offlaner to be taken. And Tracer paying the main damage together with Abathur. But the Russians, the last 2 picks, and what's it going to be? So for the Russians, we're going to get Zeratul and we have Li Ming. So a Void Prison into an Apocalypse. We have Farlander on his Maiev, and we get a Li Ming for the resets after this. So quite a little bit of value there, as we're looking towards our last pick of this particular map on Alterac Pass. Still amazed that Dehaka hasn't been picked. I would have expected more globals. The map is huge. I mean, it really is. There's Abathur on the side of Wind and Rain. That's at least something, but Team Russia, not even looking at that. And our last pick, it is Arthas. Arthas on the offlane, another great hero for the Abathur head. And ladies and gentlemen, we are good to go for game number 4. Potentially the last map in this series. Let's jump in. Wind and Rain going up against Team Russia. And we're on. Alterac Pass is the map. Wind and Rain is in the lead. And Team Russia needs to win 2 in a row if they want to decide the series in their favor. Gulnar on the left on Tyrande. Make on Tracer. Berghold on Muradin. We have Abathur played by a Skok again. And Max Passion on Arthas. On the right side of the map, we're currently seeing Stalk on Diablo. Collier Martian on Malfurion. Barnaby on Li Ming. Shamzik on Zeratul and Farlander on Maiev. And the stage is set. It could be the end of this series if Wind and Rain deliver here. Then they can actually pull that off. At this point, we're having Max Passion already sitting here at the side, trying to see if he can maybe get a quick Howling Blast through. So far, not the case. Hasn't even taken a level 1 talent just yet. Makes me a little bit suspicious. I mean, we have seen Arthas. Yeah, there it goes. Trade build. Goes into the trade build, trying to go for those auto attacks to trade and get the damage done. Helps with the mana management for him, of course, as well. With that said, again, we're having up the top lane, already Skok sitting right there, Shamsik is on the lane too. And this is like a positioning where you're always tempted. You see that Abathar and you want that Abathar. I feel Abathar, like no other hero, can bait others to try and take him on. It's actually kind of insane, right? So now we're having still the rotations happening, and especially when you're going up against the Muradin and the Tyrande, you need to be a bit careful there. That was a really nice wall stun against Maka, and the slices are coming through too. Maka is the main damage here for the team. Now obviously Abathar is also really packing a punch with those spikes, and the more aggressive Maka plays, the more damage Abathar can get out too. It is not really a rare occurrence that Abathar ends up being the top damage dealer in the team, or at least taking the second spot here. But they have to really try and obviously coordinate those attacks around the stuns that will come from Muradin and from Tyrande. That would be the ideal setup here. And going up against heroes like Li Ming with the resets, on top of that, of course, also the Void Prison into Apocalypse and all the setup with Maiev, you are in trouble. And yeah, that's exactly what Berkul on Muradin is experiencing firsthand here, because he gets taken down, locked down by all of this. Stark bullying him around first, Malfurion rooting him into the ground. I mean, that guy has so much moss available that it's already dripping through his beard here. That's what explains the green color that we are seeing on Malfurion. People are always saying he doesn't really look good, he looks a little bit green around the ears and not really too healthy, like he has a fever, but that's actually not it. It's just like all that moss that is coming through there. So he's rotten to the core, and that root hit Muradin quickly, and obviously then the tether comes through from Maiev, and that finishes the deal. With that said, 1 kill against 1 and nearly an entire level lead on the other side. A little bit of a pressure play up at the top, as Shamsik is also dropping the first tower and going for the second. Max Passion has to actually rotate in. And that is the Russians starting to play nicely against that Abathar setup. Shamsik, on the other hand, is still able to get away here. Yeah, gets on out, jumps out, and might be able to escape. Ooh, the owl hits too. The death coil and the spike. Alright, that's the end of Zeratul. Finally taken out there. The chase was on for a long time, and it looked for a few moments as if Zeratul might be able to make it, but no. Especially, of course, since we are having Gulliver drop the owl, he couldn't even rely on that semi-stealth anymore and was all of a sudden targetable as well. So yeah, that made things only worse with the death coil then hitting home. But either way, the kill is there. And with this said, we're now having Farlander trying to make his play there too. I mean, it was a bit of a different situation. Once that Arthur's cut his path of retreat off, he just couldn't escape there anymore. So he was trying to run away, but yeah. What he was initially trying to do, and it was actually the best chance that he had, he was trying to move behind the towers in stealth mode and then blink over and get away, and Arthur's wouldn't have been able to follow him if he does it towards the bottom. But then the spike hits him and reveals him, and so the towers start targeting him, and that was pretty much the end of that attempt. Talking about attempts, that attempt to go for that. Maka is at 10 HP, but they still get the kill against Zeratul again. Holy shit, like what? Maka still over... What? Alright, finally he dies. Jumps in a bit too deep, and he's not the only one. Maka is down, and so is Arthur. They definitely overdid it slightly, but they nearly came to the first objective. Abathar, obviously at the bottom of the map, is in the meantime starting to still take experience for them. But there's pressure in the mid lane right now. That mule could really come in handy later on. At this point, it's not going to do too much. Gets taken out too quickly. There's just nobody for the defense. That's an easy fort. It's actually nicely done. It's a great job that we're seeing here from the Russians. They already get the fort. They are now ahead. 2 kills against 3 at this point. And now we're having Farlander also nearly down, but the bomb doesn't connect here. So Marke is moving away. 6 stacks on Arthur's as he's starting to obviously complete the level 1 quest, which helps them a lot with the mana management, but just like the baseline damage for him is going to increase more and more as the game continues. Bakul, on the other hand, gets murdered here, and the Russians are off to a fantastic start in game number 4. They want the 5th map, and if this continues, they'll get it. I mean, they have the 4th down already. They're starting to take the lead here in kills. They're moving straight into the objective now. They're doing extremely well at this point, trying to find another tether, and Maka is just suffering. Abathar goes down at the bottom as Zeratul drops him, but the main fight here is still continuing with Kolya Martian getting the capture through, and they're looking for another tether. The damage against Maka is substantial. Max Passion gets nearly caught here. Farlander, then again, went a bit too deep, didn't see Muradin coming, and that Storm Bolt and aggression was just too much. Farlander 2 for out. Zeratul starting the rotation now towards the top. Abathur, now that he respawns, can obviously help out with the symbiote right away. And with Maiev gone, they can't go for it just yet. It's pretty much a tie at this point, but then, oh, that could be the kill. Khaldor now on 10 HP. Arthur's dead. And it resets. Help Barnaby to get even more damage in. The bomb doesn't connect. Maka doesn't get the kill, but Shamzik does. Jumps out barely in time. Stun gets dodged, and Tyrande, as she's trying to move in, might even fall as well. Barely dodges the combo here. Khaldor low, but already the objective has been claimed, and level 10 abilities, thanks to the level lead, are now in the hands of the Russians to even enhance that one further. Nicely done. Another slugfest. Yeah, there's even going for the tether and going also straight for the disc. Farlander on the run as the rest is coming in. They want him. They might get him. And the jump, trying to dodge the Stormbolt that never comes, but actually dodges one, but the second kill comes in. I'm still calling worth here. I mean, you take Abathur down, so that's always kind of worth it. Top fort falls to the Raider, and in the middle, oh, well, they're at least getting some pressure in, especially with Shamzik and the rest of the team now starting to also go aggressively for that. Top side, Liming currently pretty much alone there, helping out with this. Shamzik's getting attacked. There's the APOC. Muradin gets stunned out. They go for backhold. Might not get the kill here. And at the same time, they're trying to run Zeratul down. There's the Root and the Void Prison even being used just to be on the safe side. But keep those Raiders in mind. They're still getting some value here, as both of the teams are now level 10. Shamzik again being attacked, but still on the mount, so that's not a chase. That's ending successfully for Wind and Rain. It's a nice one, honestly. I mean, they're just getting all out here. 10 stacks by now on Arthur's. Having also the potential kill against Marker. Not quite. Actually, there's the wall stun, and that might be it. Close. Way too close. Too close for comfort. Marker is having a lot of trouble in this game. A lot of the damage hinges on him, and the way that Team Russia controls it right now is actually pretty impressive. I mean, Marker has already died twice, and they are just doing fantastic around this. There comes the attack against Dog with a bomb. Max Passion low. Max Passion in trouble. Max Passion might fall. Combo comes in, not quite. Again, Calamity damage, and the kill against Arthur as Zeratul moves in for the final slash. Li Ming, the counter kill, but the double tether, and that's the kill against Tyrande and Muradin. Two of them down, the copy, trying to get some value. Shamzik moves in, moves out, uses the wormhole here, and they're pushing this one out now too. Level 13 nearly against level 11, and we're having 3 forts eliminated. A lot of map control now for Team Russia. This is a pretty serious game here. I mean, Wind and Rain has now taken the lead twice in the series. They took the 1-0 at the beginning. They were able to take the 2-1 lead after Team Russia equalized the score again. But now we're seeing an opportunity for Team Russia to actually force map number 5. This, on the other hand, might not quite work out. I mean, Farlander is a little bit too alone. There's the Owl coming in. Zeratul is now slowly making the rotation top as he realizes what's happening there, but the rest of the team in blue is also making the same move. And that boss is down to 50%. Cooldowns are there. They have the Void Prison. They have the APOC. Boss gets leashed, and Stalk survives. Easy tap on the fountain. I mean, him fully stacked on souls allows him to do that. Void Prison, only hitting one. Only hitting one. There's the APOC and the stun against Tyrande, but they're already occupied in the middle. There comes the quick disc, but Max Pasha is already free again, and that ult setup has not worked out for the Russians. They are in trouble right now. They need to be a bit careful here. They can still get the kills, but at the same time, they have to be cautious. They used a lot of resources in that fight already and didn't get anything for their efforts. Again, the move against Marker. Again, the attempted setup. Marker low. Oh, and gets away before the second wall stun comes through. They're trying to burn the copy on Arthur's down, but Zeratul is also in trouble, and he's dead. Zeratul down, but Maiev goes in again, gets the tether. Muradin is dead, and they're looking for more. They're looking for the kill against Tyrande, and they find it. Marker himself is also nearly down and gets taken apart as well. Now they go for the boss again, and the Russians, they just have that advantage on the winter maps. Obviously, the Russian resiliency. Mother Russia in Winterland. That's what we're currently seeing here. 14 kills against 6, and they're doing fantastic. Doing great. Zeratul having the toughest time currently in this game, but just look at Diablo. Has never died yet. Neither has Malfurion. They get the boss now, and now they can make the play for the objective itself. Because this lane is already being pushed hard. And once that the boss comes in, that keep is under pressure. So you know that they have to play around this. They're actually taking their time at the top lane, trying to apply even more pressure here with another Gnoll camp taken. They're also close to 16, so they can literally try and wait around that. Abathar is very much alone. The Slugger against the Ice Golem. I kinda put my money on the Ice Golem there, to be honest with you. Zeratul is already sitting down here. Here comes the attempt to maybe even go for the play. 16, as I said before, isn't ready yet. So they're trying to make something happen right now. And keep Abathar's Mule in mind. So as long as the keep at the top lane doesn't actually fall, they're fine. Wall is done. Again, set up. Apo comes through. And their attempt to go for the kill against Backhold. The Tether is in and draws him back into the fight. Top lane still attacked here. Abathar's helping out down here. The kill, nice! Good kill against Zeratul. But this keep goes down. No chance for Abathar to keep it alive with the Mule. That isn't happening. So they keep eliminated. Level 16 in their hands. There's another opportunity now for Stork to maybe get the resets if he gets those dominations over. Objective, on the other hand, is getting attacked. Max Passion is currently guarding it as the Grunts are trying to interrupt it. As the prisoners are getting freed. 29 seconds, currently missing. Getting the stun in again against Farlander. Not enough yet, though. Copies out. Double Tyrande for the double stun, double the fun. But Muradin is dead, and Maka is also about to fall. Like, he's close, and he is dying. He's dead, and this is the recapture also from the objective. Now a 5 versus 2 on the map, and one of those heroes is actually Abathar, who's taking a lot of damage against those minions as well. Skok barely surviving before he gets taken out, but Arthas and Tyrande in the meantime are both falling, and they're battling already for the prisoner camp. 16 is there, and it's a great setup for Team Russia. They won game number 5, and right now, it honestly looks like they are going to get it. I mean, we have, at this point, another objective about to be claimed by Wind and Rain, and all of the forts are gone. The top keep is already gone too. How do you stop this? At this point, there's pretty much no chance that you can go for that. Looking at the damage output, leaving it sitting at 48,000. I mean, Banabia has absolutely murdered people with that hero through this game. The resets were so strong for him every single time, and they're taking camp after camp after camp now. They have more and more macro pressure on the map. That's without a global hero against an Avatar composition. They're doing insane work here. Zeratul currently with only 14,000 hero damage, but that's going to change now with the 16. And he's also been sent to the side lanes a lot to deal with the wave clear, and that's where he committed. 60,000 for him is not bad. Farlander obviously on his Maiev also just killing people here. 16 is something that Wind and Rain desperately needs, as we're seeing Raiders committing to every single lane again. The top lane is going to pressure the core directly, but down here, the Russians can already open this up. This would pretty much mean that they're going to get this keep for free. There's the Void Prison in the back line, but the kills keep coming, or do they? Max Passion is low. Zeratul with the final hit. They take the copy down as well. 5 versus 4 defense, and there's the setup against Maka as they go for the containment disc. They try to go for the setup. They try to take Maka down. They can't just yet, but they break through the wall, and now the Raiders are arriving at the top. They're already going for it. Apocalypse setup not quite working out as Tyrande goes for the Celestial Attunement here, but Bergholt is still low, and that keep is definitely going to fall. The tether against Gulnar, and that's the end of Tyrande in the mid lane. The keep is about to fall. The boss is already getting attacked, and that's exactly where they're headed. Abathar is down, and this is game, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way for them to actually fight through this anymore. Only Muradin alive, and the keeps keep falling. And that's the armor points removed of the final boss here as well. Bergholt in trouble as Muradin gets tethered back in. Max Passion comes back to business, but that core is already about to fall as they're still brawling for Arthas. Arthas about to fall. So does the boss, and that is game number 5 guaranteed in this series. We are going to the final map, ladies and gentlemen, between Team Russia and Wind and Rain here in Division S. Game number 5, we're in the final map, ladies and gentlemen. The best of 5 series going the full distance there. Infernal Shrines is the map, and yeah, it's a good one for the last one as well. So Team Russia pretty much schooled Wind and Rain on Alterac Pass. Again, you don't pick winter maps against the Russians. That's not going to go well. Ask the Germans, they know. Now Inuburak is getting picked here, banned out against Stork, but I'm a little bit hyped for this one, to be honest with you. Team Russia and Wind and Rain on Infernal Shrines, 5th map. I mean, count me in. That's going to be a great one way or another. With this set, Team Russia They are kind of the favorite in the series, I want to say, but I feel that Wind and Rain, I would be so pissed if I, for the gazillionth time now, would end up in a 5th map or being really close to taking one of the big dogs down, and then on the 5th map it all turns around against me, so we're going to see how that works out. But for now, we're having my F banned out. Wind and Rain, what are they going to get rid of here? I mean, right now... What do you ban out there? Ana can get banned out, for example. Then again, it's Infernal Shrine, so I would personally expect Team Russia to ban Mephisto again, right? Since they banned that out so often against Marker. Now we're having, first of all, Zeratul addressed. But yeah, Mephisto as a ban, probably a good idea, considering how much Marker plays that thing. And how much Team Russia actually simply respected that pick earlier. But they're hesitant. We might see a different ban here. We might actually see them shake the MO up a bit. Could also still see a Han. Oh, they go for Tyrael, alright. They let Mephisto come through. Could maybe see it addressed on the 3rd ban when it comes to that. But yeah, Tyrael is a little bit too brutal for them. Hanzo gets picked right away. Don't really mind that at all. That's a great one. On the other side now, the double pick that we're seeing from Team Russia. What do we expect there, actually? I'm obviously a little bit at a loss. I mean, Star could go into Diablo again if he feels it. That's still a great map for that. You could go into Malfurion, obviously, on the side of Colin Martian if you want there too. Ana is still up, so Jaina, Ana, both open. Rexa, Johanna. Alright, I gotta admit that I didn't see the Johanna coming with that much of a commitment early on. But it feels like they're trying to push Berkult a little bit out of his comfort zone as well. So we have Johanna taken. That's a lot of wave clear. And Shamsik and Rexa now. Great off lane, great for the fights now too. Good setups there for them, honestly. Do we get that Mephisto on the other hand? That's a big question. Yes, we do! Mephisto taken by Maka. They have to pick it now. If they don't pick it now, it's gonna get banned out again. They know that too. So now we have Malfurion together with that. And what do you ban out at this point? I mean, you can address the tank line again. If they're really trying to push Berkult a little bit out of his comfort zone, you could ban Garrosh, for example, now. Force him along the lines of something like Muradin again. Oh, Diablo is still up too, so they're more so forcing him into Garrosh at this point, actually. Okay. On the other side, what do you ban there? I mean, Liming usually not really a big factor on this map, because obviously the entire objective is blocking her shots quite a lot, but you could ban Jaina out if you wanted. Make sure that Jaina isn't really a factor here, with Johanna sucking everybody in, and then Jaina's damage can be an issue. Ana can be banned out. Turanda. It's Jaina, yeah. Makes the most sense. There's at least wiggle room on this. I would still expect Junkrat to be picked, to be honest with you. I mean, by one of the two teams. The outside poke that you get into the shrine is still great. And yep, there's the rat. Junkrat claimed Turanda over Malfurion for them right now. Misha stun coming in, Turanda follow up, let's shield. There's Garrosh. And there's Leo. Max passion on Leo. Are we gonna see maximum passion or maximum feet? That's the problem here. Or the big question. But yeah, with the ban on Diablo, you pretty much force backhold into Garrosh. And they kinda knew that too. But Johanna doesn't really trade too badly into Garrosh, so that's good. Last pick now. I want a little bit more damage on this end for Barnaby. Earlier he played Gul'dan. Kinda don't think that we're gonna see Gul'dan again from him though. Jimmy is still up, and they go for Jimmy. Might actually switch it even with Farlander. Yeah, honestly, either way is fine. Game number 5, everybody. We are on the final map. This is the conclusion of the best of 5. Let's jump in as we're heading into Infernal Shrines to see who's gonna take the series here at Division S, ladies and gentlemen. Game on! Wind and Rain against Team Russia. On the left side in blue, Wind and Rain with Skok on Hanzo, Maka on Mephisto finally. Galnagonar on Malfurion, Berkult on Garrosh, and Max Passion on Leoric. On the right side of the map, we have Stalk on Johanna, Barnaby on Reyna, Fallen on Junkrat, and Shamsik on Rexa, with Colin Martian on Turanda. Max Passion is so passionate about this game that he actually asked Blizzard, or so legend goes, to silence his account so that he can fully focus on the gameplay in every single game and isn't distracted or tempted to be distracted by it. So the legend goes, at least. So, as Blizzard obviously has granted that request, Max Passion can just focus 100% on every single play that he makes in this game, and he can showcase that now on Leoric. Well, we have on level 1, the Laws of Hope taken for Johanna. Already a big 5-man brawl here in the middle. Well, 5-man and 1 bear. Always have to account for Misha here, obviously. So Johanna can move with Iron Skin out of Garrosh when he goes in with a flip. That's the reason why Johanna actually trades pretty nicely into Garrosh, usually, because the Iron Skin protects her. You can literally deny the throw if you use it quickly enough. And here comes the rotation down to the bot lane. Now, at the top of the map, I really expect that obvious... I mean, you can get easy drains against Misha, so that usually keeps Leo in a decent spot. You should get those drains through, but the lane, you won't be able to win it at all. I mean, down here at the bottom of the map, we're still having now those 3-man rotations, and still a lot of stuns available, especially, of course, with with Tyrande being in the mix here. That definitely helps. And my eyes on Make. I want to see if Make, now that he finally gets his Mephisto, is able to really put this to the test and take his opponents down, or if he's going to fall here. The Furious Spark on level 1, a little bit of a Lightning Nova focus, as we have... I mean, you can expect that. Lightning Nova is usually what most of them focus on. If you're looking at ARAMs and some other builds that we occasionally see, maybe on the Chinese side with Mephisto, then it's more of a Skull Missile build. But Make has always preferred that Lightning Nova setup, and with great success there too. So it depends a lot on how quickly you can stack if you're going with the Skull Missile. But just generally speaking, this is more so the build that we're seeing most of the time. Skog, as the camp is taken by Team Russia, is now to move away from this. There's obviously quite a bit of displacement in this game, not only around Garrosh, but at the same time also from Junkrat. Ooh, talking displacement. Yeah, Stalk again moving away here. But here comes the setup, and Stalk might actually fall. They're trying to get the kill. Oh, and Lightning Nova with the final few blows here. Make is on the run, and he also dies. Okay, Backhold for a moment looked as if he were trying to take the grenade, play a little bit Bruno Mars here, and catch a grenade for him, but as it turns out, he wasn't quite that willing to die and didn't move to the side here, so Mephisto falls. On level 4, committing to the static barrier as well. Again, fully in on the Lightning Nova at this point. You get the extra shield now too. And at the same time, the Neil Peasant taken for Leo. And since it's always a bit of a question, the Hunter-Gatherer on the side of Rexa. So not seeing the Animal Husbandry, which honestly has made it back into a few of the games just recently in Division S, but it's not really the standard talent anymore. It was at the start. But yeah. With this said, first objective is up, and that's actually where Wind and Rain is getting a nice head start for themselves. There's a nice push out at the bot lane for extra experience here for the Russians. And they're actually starting to move straight to the top. Trying to fight the 6 versus 5 here. Misha on a setting that balance a little bit. Right now we're already having Stalk in slight trouble. Backhold comes in. Good position for him. Tries this throw. It doesn't connect with the hero here. Having a bit of trouble. 11 stacks against 4, but the Russians are starting to push in a little bit more aggressively. Make is already eating the damage. Gets pushed out here. Nice setup again by Farlander. Always looking for the real Mephisto, and when he pops back in, trying to push him back out onto the fight. So that's going to put pressure on the Make the entire time. Such a good play by Farlander. That Junkrat pick against Mephisto, when played correctly, can definitely make a huge difference here. And that's what he's trying to do. So keep out your eyes on Farlander whenever Mephisto is making the move there. 20 against 19, that's what we're looking at right now. Easy kill against Max Passion. He goes down, gets a bit of Leorki value, but a lot of cooldowns have been burned for this, and the HP part is already low. Stalk in trouble again, moving out there. Shamzik also needs to be careful, and they can't retake the position on the shrine, at least not that easily. Johanna now with a blessed momentum on level 7, having at the same time Mephisto with a trickery at this point. The shade of Mephisto. An eye out for Junkrat. Again, Max Passion in the second kill. Leo is dead again, sacrificing himself. Yes, the team takes those stacks. 38 and likely to get for the 40. And a perfect example of where you can really bait a lot of those cooldowns in the early game when the death timers are low with Leoric and get value out of it. They're likely to win it now. They're going again for the stuns here. Barnabia. Oh, and that's the kill against Reyna. Yeah, that's definitely sealing the fate of Punisher #1. Nicely done at this point. Yeah, good job. And again, Leo dying twice, but we're coming back to the same point. Leo dying in the early game is not a big deal. The cooldown is low when he appears back on the battlefield. He doesn't have travel time from the Nexus. If those cooldowns get baited on him, and your team obviously is good enough and understands enough to immediately get value out of it, then you're in a decent spot. And thanks to those two frontline moves from Leoric and a lot of the cooldowns being baited onto him, they were able to trade positively into Team Russia and then get the objective. They were initially a little bit behind, and now they are claiming the fort at the top lane, so that entire setup worked out for them. It's a bit of a weird one, but still works out nicely. Obviously, Make also with quite a bit of Mephisto value here. The AoE that we're having from him and from others really comes through. Hans is another one to really point out there. In terms of experience, it's not really a big difference yet, but with a passive experience increase thanks to the fort that has now been eliminated, that is going to change over time, slowly and steadily. We're having Johanna even side laning a little bit at this point, thanks to the wave clear that she has. And they're trying to control the experience again. At least for the time being, they're also doing a decent job out of this. The vision obviously granted by Tyrandas, also giving them a bit more security as they're trying to go for their own camps. We're having Hans on the other side attempting to do the same, as you can see here, so it's all about knowing where your opponent is. Heroes of the Storm is a game that really depends a lot on team coordination and vision. It's one of the big differences between Heroes of the Storm and other MOBAs like Dota 2 or League of Legends, where individual plays can make more of a difference. But when it comes to team play, when it comes to rotations, and even just trading damage, not even getting kills, there's a lot of understanding that you need in Heroes, which especially the newer players is not really transparent, where you can make easy mistakes. I mean, there's a reason why you have a lot of the Koreans with that game understanding that they have in the top teams always coming back into those grand finals and fighting there and coming up with new rotations, new little moves that they're making, just denying 1 or 2 minions to an opponent and adding that up over time to get those tiny advantages when you go into a team fight. But with that now, we have level 10 abilities on both sides. That gives us, amongst other things, also the Entomb setup. You can use that with an arrow if they want to stack that. We're having also the boars to be unleashed, and they try to get the kill against Backhold. Backhold is low, but there comes the quick root. Good setup from Khaldor. Cooldown management here on point from them, saving Backhold for the time being. And they're starting to also move straight into the mid lane now with a bit of a drain against Shamzik. But at the bottom of the map, Stork is splitting from the team a lot more this game because he has the wave clear to really push these out, and that's what he does. The top lane, Make is already sitting, Misha is anchoring the play, so it's all about the vision plays here for them, especially since both of the teams are trying to take their camps. They want to make 100% certain that there's no invade coming their way. That's exactly what they're currently using there. So with this, we're having in the mid lane, Backhold and Farlander. I mean, at this point, Backhold, again, he is on Garrosh, right? You don't even attack that minion wave. There's no need for you. You don't have the wave clear in the first place. You want to stay close to the turrets. As long as you're exposed in the middle, you're just sitting on the mount, you're inexperienced range, you don't really commit anything to it. And then you turn around later. That, on the other hand, was an attempt to go for Hanzo. Garrosh even in a bit of trouble as Backhold was trying to help out. It's a lot of damage, but Khaldor is already on the job of healing that back up. Objective is activating in another few seconds, and Leo and, well, Garrosh are still fighting up at the top. Level 12 talents are in. Here comes the ult also for Make with the consumed souls that he's currently taking here. He's going to try and get the channel. He gets the reveal and the extra damage out, but this is already the fight. Misha comes in, top lane, pressure with catapults, and also, Make actually needs to be really careful here. Reptire and kill. Get rigged, my friend. Down goes Mephisto. Backhold is also on the run. He might be in trouble here. Here comes the Entomb, though. Max Passion with a nice little move to make sure that Backhold doesn't die as well. So a bit more of a defensive Entomb that he just used there instead of trying to set up a kill. But that definitely worked for them. Top lane needs to be addressed eventually by Team Russia. They're not really rotating anybody topside yet. So this camp is currently still getting a bit of value. No catapult with it at this point either, but the Frozen Punishers are now taken. And they're moving through the bottom, and that gate is nearly down. So once it's eliminated, that's vision granted, and they could follow up the Punisher jump within a kill attempt. And making exactly that happen. Stun into stun, blessed shield, and there's the flip, and that's the end of Garrosh. Nicely done. Punisher stun originally dodged by the Indomitable, and then the immediate follow-up shortly after with a Blessed Shield by Stork, perfectly timed as Indomitable is over, and then Tyranda's stun that not only eliminates the fort, it gives them the kill, it gives them the lead and experience. 5 kills against 3 right now. Nicely done here. And of course trying to get a little bit more out of this now too. So we have at this point 13 talents, soon, well, ready for both. 16 of course would be the next milestone for them. But the Russians are starting to take a bit of a lead here. So yeah, Wind and Rain starting to move in. Gets the double Entomb. Oh, into the arrow. Holy cow. Perfect setup. And that's the double kill. What a beautiful setup from Wind and Rain. Max Passion threatening it and then dropping the Entomb. That was a mic drop Entomb right there. Yeah, Leo, perfect play. I mean, I think for him it's a mace drop, but either way, he dropped it when it mattered, and that was the immediate follow-up from Hanzo. He's just like, thanks, bro, for setting that up for me. Hits the double arrow, and then Malfurion is there for the root, and they get the kills. That was a great setup. That was nicely done here. Backhold even looking for a kill against Farlander. So yeah, this is highly contested. This is a great best of 5, guys. I mean, the entire time. 1-0 lead, tie. 2-1 lead, tie. And now we're having not only Russia ahead originally, but Wind and Rain fighting back and switching it up again. With this, we're having now camps obviously taken on the map now too, as they're starting to jump in to try and get a little bit more out of this. But boy, what a setup here today. In comes Stork, Blessed Shield is ready, could use it, does use it. They're trying to go for Make. Good job by Backhold, throwing it out, but he himself isn't safe yet. Gets a shield, Riptide gets taken out, nicely done. Max Passion coming in from the side with another Entomb, and there's the Hanzo arrow for the additional setup with the stun. Leo might fall, yeah, going to sacrifice himself here, but the rest of the team is still alive. They were trying to go for the setup, but they don't get it here. Backhold with a throw out again, there's the stun on the other hand. Once again, the Indomitable and Nature's Cure, everything is coming in together to drop those stuns, but Mephisto is in trouble. Make is on the run again. There's the quick taunt to give him a little bit more space. And they actually escape, at least for the time being. Stork is still there, grenades are coming in, but they're able to dodge all of it. There's no additional kill, it's only Leo that has fallen, and that is literally the one kill you're okay with. 16. Close for both. This is such a close game. This is seriously such a close game right now. I mean, at this point, Max Passion is sitting at 3 deaths, 80,000 siege damage, 20,000 hero damage for him. Make is sitting at 43k hero damage, so him and Hanzo tied nearly with this. And 16 talents are obviously now ready for the 2 of them. Next objective is spawning in the mid side again. And at this point, Panem Rat's been taken. We have the Holy Renewal, so a little bit more sustain for Stork here on top of that. Obviously, we're talking also Lightning Nova, where we have now the Animosity claimed on level 16. The Royal Focus is there too. Full vision again, and that top side is still an advantage for Wind and Rain. There's a little bit of an asymmetry on the map now, where the top side is pushing a bit more aggressively for Wind and Rain, and the bot side is doing the same for Team Russia. But the advantage is, of course, the camp top side. There's it again. They go for, oh, Stork. Beautiful kill. They go for Stork. They get the kill. Hanzo with the additional stun. They're trying to get the follow-up there. They're attempting to go for Barnaby, but Reyna is moving away. But the objective is active. They can go for the shrine now. They can go for the shrine at this point. The bear is down, and this is another problem. This one is going to fall. This one is falling simply because we're having it in turret range. So as this progresses, this is going to give another advantage to Wind and Rain that eventually is going to push for the top keep. And now with Leo even rotating in and helping with the defense there, that progress is only getting sped up. So now we're having 10 seconds on Johanna. The poke from the outside is there. Max Passion, Entomb in 4. Entomb ready in 4 seconds for him, and he's going to look for it. If he can get it on Reyna, they are going to go for that. 20 seconds until Hanzo has the arrow, but already the disengage as the Russians realize they won't be able to make this. They can't do it right now. And they're moving topside instead. Instead, Farlander says, guys, I have to deal with this. I have to deal with it right now. Mortar Punisher, on the other hand, is moving into the middle. But we are also seeing at the bottom of the map, Shamzik pushing this out a little bit more. As I said before, you can push the bottom keep right now. I mean, there's only a turret, so you eventually will force someone back. Someone on the side of Wind and Rain has to bite the bullet and say like, okay guys, I'm moving back. Unless of course they win the big fight right now. They force it and they get another kill, maybe? Yes, and they get 2. They get both. They get Jimmy, they get Tyrande, and they're just looking at this and they're saying like, fuck the keep, or like screw the fort, we're going keep, baby. We go keep, boys. That thing, we don't really care about it. So they're just going for the keep right now. And with 2 down, you can't even stop them. That Punisher gets baited into the bottom a little bit, but it's still soaking the shots there, and they can easily go for the keep, and they take it down. There it is. They haven't eliminated that as well. And now, of course, in the meantime, the fort back here is also falling. And that is going to be the big lead for them in this game. Nicely done. Nicely done. Riptide comes through, but they can move away right now. And now we have 7 kills against 6, but holy cow. Someone asked earlier in the chat, when are we finally going to see a good Leoric? Well, I present Max Passion. In this game at least, he does a fantastic job. 3 deaths, but again, a lot of these deaths are trades. Trades where you're saying, like, yes, if I can die and save someone else that is retreating, that's advantageous for us. Because even in Ghost form, I provide value to my team. I have the slows in, I respawn quicker. And on top of that, I'm also in a position where I can provide vision to my team. So right now, they're doing great with this. They're currently sitting at 19 against 18, but it's the structural advantage that really matters on that map at this point. But the Russians, they are not out of this. Again, we talked about this in game number 1, if you remember. We talked about it in the first game. Never count out the Russians. Then again, we're talking level 20s, right? And the 20 power spike that we're seeing from the Entomb with the Buried Alive is obviously nuts. So if he still connects the double, triple Entombs that we've seen so far from Max Passion later on, that's all that they need to do. So there's the rotation towards the top. Trying to push it out again, but a bit slow here. Yeah, just sitting there. Nobody else. Anchoring. Seeing if you can maybe catch something. Farlander's now there. Vision at the bot lane. I mean, this is going to come down to 20 versus 20. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's map number 5. It's down to the wire. Look at the kills. Look at the experience for the teams. Even the map. This is insanely close. And so it should be. Top lane, again, it's all about the camps right now. Taking those once more. This one has taken a little bit earlier, so this one's going to spawn any second. There it is. 20 is ready. That gives us the Buried Alive, obviously. On top of that, we have the Titanic Might. We're seeing the Bullseye. We have the Mimic. Fighting itself is also a fantastic talent, obviously. Even more damage. But as you can tell, on the other side, we have a couple of nice setups as well. The Kill Command, for example, with additional damage. Big roots coming out. The Shooting Star. What is Stalk going for, though? Is it going to be indestructible? Is that going to be what we're seeing here? Or will it be the shield instead? And I'm not talking, obviously, about the Blessed Shield. Nope, there it is, the shield. Blinded by the light. Going straight for the shield here for the AoE, so he himself has to be a little bit more careful. Objective is this time spawning topside. And that is actually where there's already a fort eliminated on the side of Team Russia. Guys, it comes down to this, maybe the next fight. But we are already on 18 minutes in. 20 versus 20. 16 seconds for the objective. And this one you want to fight for. Stork is sitting at the side there. He wants to anchor the place. There we have the damage output so far. And they go for Misha. Misha down. Misha down. 20 seconds, he's back. Backholder's taking a lot of damage for this, though. He's taking a lot of damage and had to tap the fountain. So he's currently already on cooldown when it comes to the Fountain Sustain. Then again, there is no Fountain Sustain for Team Russia. They don't have that anymore as an option. And here comes the setup again. Already poking. Shade of Mephisto is there too. Helps a little bit also with the stacking process on the Shrine as they're starting to poke in a little bit. Max Passion is looking for the setup, obviously. He wants that Buried Alive. He wants to have that hit. And we're looking at that potential final battle of the game right now as the teams are both looking for a good setup, for a good flank here. Don't find it just yet. Misha is back to business. Mephisto gets attacked here. Max Passion going into the back line, trying to threaten that Entomb, forcing Tyrande a little bit farther back and splitting her from the rest of the team. Starting to go in again. There's the quick globe that got now taken, actually stolen away by Johanna even. She sucked them back in. 26 stacks against 15. Again, trying to take the bear down. And they get Misha. 20 more seconds. 20 seconds, and there's also the shield coming through at this point. There's the Buried Alive. There's the arrow, but there's no follow-up. There's not enough follow-up, and Leo is down. Leo is down. I repeat, Leo is down. Leo dead and 20 against 26. In the mid lane, Catapults, 3 on the core. It's gonna lose hit points. They still have to fight this. They can't go back just now. They have to hope for the Catapults to be taken out. It's only 90 minutes into the game, but the core is already losing HP. It's down to 80%. It's down to 70%. They're losing it slowly, but they're trying to go at least for the Punisher here. They're trying to go for the objective. 67% on the core. Market going in again. Shamsik about to fall. It needs to be a little bit closer on. Rexa could go for the feint death, but the Arcane Punisher gets taken by Wind and Rain, and the core is down to 57% at this point. Wind and Rain is doing everything they can to win the game right now. Berkult is low, the ult, and the kill. Down go Rexa, down goes Tyrande. The core is already down to 53%, and more Catapults are starting to push in as Reyna is dead. Stork is isolated from the rest of the team. He's also going to fall there eventually. They're trying to go for the next kill, and Catapults are pushing into the metal as we speak. At the same time, the Punisher jumps in. Johanna is down. Only Junkrat is still alive, and he needs to deal with the Catapults, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. But they can go through the wall right now. Max Passion is already there. Max Passion is trying to go for the drain. He connects it with Farlander, and that core is suffering, and it looks like Wind and Rain has finally pulled it off here. Team Russia is in trouble right now. 20 seconds for Tyrande. It's not enough time. They won't respawn here. This is game. This is over. Top keep about to fall as the Punisher is going in for the hit. Only 3 heroes alive on the other side. The Riptire connects with Gulnar, but the core is falling, and this is going to be a victory for Wind and Rain. They make it happen. They claim victory in the best of 5 series. Wind and Rain take down Team Russia with a 3-2 victory.